Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is On the Anvil, episode 33.
Yeah, that's right. How'd you know?
I don't know. I was just guessing. We were in the 30s last week, and I was.
I was like, were you looking at the Twitch page to see what the number was ahead of time?
But you know what? I went in with confidence, so I was like, I'm just going for
That's
it.
fair.
Go
Yeah,
big. Oh, I got
that was
sweatshirt
the
on. I
first
got
time
to
I think you've just
get
said the
you.
number without being like.
Yeah. Welcome to On the Anvil. As I said, episode 33. This is the show where we go behind the curtain, Dwarven Forge here, and show you what we're up to, what we're thinking, what we're working on.
It
Whoa.
it sounds like I'm very quiet again.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Try talking now, Chris.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Does this actually sound notably different to you, or
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna be on the mic the entire
It
time.
sounds super
Yeah,
bassy and like. Is
sounds
that
good.
better?
Sounds bassy, dude.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be bassy.
Well, yeah, you have a
I've never
solution.
been bassy.
Just duct tape that mic to your face, and you got somewhere to go. Like,
I've had one voice lesson in my entire life, and first thing she did was try to figure out like where my range was, and she said I was a soprano. I'm pretty sure she was wrong, but like
I think you need
in
a
order for her to
new
make the mistake, like I've got to be somewhere adjacent.
soprano
Oh,
adjacent.
yeah,
So, I am Nate, and this is a soprano,
yeah. Hi,
and we're
I'm
gonna
not singing.
we're gonna hang out for the next 2 hours and have a beer and build some stuff and field some questions and talk about what's going on in the world of Dwarven Forge. Thanks for joining us. So let's should we go on the news? Right?
Yeah,
Today's just a build and chill, right? Talk some news and start building some things and talk about all the things everybody's talking about on forums and Discord and whatnot. So let's go.
yes.
Let's get official into the news. Oh, you know what? I should have gone to the. Wait, I got a new. Darn it, split cam. Here we go. There we go. Now we can both be. Hey.
Yeah. Oh man, that's way better.
Split it. All right. So what's in the news? What's in the news, Chris?
What's in the news? Well, last night I know I saw some of you hanging out in chat. Nate and Nina were on the Dungeon Dudes Twitch channel playing in their game, and they'll actually be back there again next Tuesday, same time, same channel, just Dungeon_Dudes on Twitch. Go ahead and follow now if you want, just to make sure you get notifications.
6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, and the games run. Well, last one ran what, like
3 hours.
4-ish hours?
3 hours.
Three?
6 to 9.
Yeah.
They're usually out. He's Monty does it so much. You know, he's very good at being out on his cue. And man, it's fun to just play. I'm really enjoying. I'm playing a bunch of. I've tried to get as much stuff from Tasha's Cauldron in there as I could. Although we haven't actually used any. I've used negligible abilities in the first session. Like mostly it was just sort of exploring and figuring out, little problem solving, trying to navigate our way around this creepy old museum, figure out what's going on. But there's two dinosaurs which I think are petrified dinosaurs, which aren't actually petrified, or preserved dinosaurs that are gonna fight. I don't know. The dinosaurs are alive, so
If they were petrified, it'd be an easy fight.
yeah, it'd be stone cold easy. No, they're I don't know. They're preserved. Something's amiss. They're coming after us, I think. So we'll see how that all pans out.
Um, let's see. We've got some up. Other than that, we basically just have a couple like small updates regarding the restock. We're basically still we're on schedule for what we had initially said. Yeah, like
They
it just got to the warehouse.
just got to the warehouse. They're receiving it now. It's a really complicated one to receive because it is just a hodgepodge of sets, right? They're like, I don't know. It's a staggering, well into the double digits, right? I don't know if it's 50 different sets or more, 100 different sets. I don't know. It's just a whole bunch of. It's kind of everything that we had left over, sitting. The factory keeps some sort of odds and ends there, so it's just sort of whatever was left over. We just cleared out the factory of all the stuff they had left over, and so it's just like crazy hodgepodge. There's well as some. There's like I think starter dungeons and there's a few sort of dungeon staples that were restocked, but other than that, it's just sort of a hodgepodge. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be a wild
we
one.
Yeah, there's a little bit of city stuff, a little bit of like the classic dungeon remastered, is getting a pretty sizable restock.
Yep.
Um, but outside of that, yeah, some of the old resin actually is getting restocked in that like small
Woo!
quantities. So if you wanted some of the resin stuff, that's going to be in there. A lot of castle stuff is being restocked a little bit. Um,
It should
it's your
be.
chance to get most of the stuff that hasn't been there for a while.
It should be next. I'm guessing next Wednesday. So we'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens.
And if you are wanting to see the specific stuff, if you go to the front page of our website and scroll down, there is a restock list on the site. Whenever we've got restocks coming, you can always find the list for the next restock on that site. Um, and then, let's see. We have some updates regarding the resin pieces from Wildlands.
Ooh, let's do that last because that's a
Do
neat
that
thing to show.
last.
Yeah.
Scratch that. We have a brief update regarding the build of the month.
Yeah, we shot it next. No, no.
It's been shot.
We shot today. It was a tricky. I don't know why that one was giving me such a hard time. I was supposed to do it last
Hey,
Friday and I wasn't ready. And
yeah, you were talking about it like you were having trouble figuring out like what you wanted the narrative to be exactly.
yeah, I guess at first I couldn't get the build to work and then I couldn't think, but I think it came together. Shivering Springs, and it'll go up. It should go live February 2nd, first Tuesday of the month, and then I think we're going to. I think the plan is, don't hold us to it, but the current penciled in plan is to also, so the first Tuesday of every month, the build of the month goes live, and also the first Tuesday of the month we shoot the building of the build of the month for the following month. So that's the goal. So hopefully next. Oh, and where I gotta figure out what we're gonna do. So yeah, we're open to some suggestions. We're gonna do a big castle one for April. Maybe this will be a hybrid. People have been asking a hybrid one. Fun. Combine a sewer and a building, or a dungeon and a cave, or I don't know. Yeah, let us know if you got some ideas for a build of the month that you'd love to see. Um, if I think we've got a few things in the suggestion box, but you guys, your suggestions are the best. We love it's good grist for the mill.
I think it has been a while since we've done castles as build of the month. I remember editing the build of the castle one.
The last
I
one
did a
was
little
last.
masking.
It was a year ago.
Yeah.
It was last January, or maybe we shot it last January, but I don't know. It was, yeah, the ruined, what the hell, what one was it? Ancient Anguish.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh.
Unnamed Castle?
That was the first one. We've only
Uh,
done two castle ones. Unnamed Castle was the very first one. Ancient Anguish was last. Whatever. We're gonna do like a mega castle in for April, I think so.
Excellent.
February, March. I don't know. We should.
Werewolf Castle Murder Mystery. This is David Moffat.
I'm very
Ice
into
Castle? Fire and Ice Castle?
that. Ooh, fire and ice. That would get Stefan fired up. That would be. We just did ice though, so we can't do ice. I don't know what we'll do for next month, but we'll take any ideas you have.
Gotta look at what we got.
Yeah, man, I love the build of the months are fun, man. It's really particularly kicking off with the building of the build of the month, and then leading into a build of the month. It's just I enjoy doing that content.
Yeah, well, it's very creative. I think is the main thing. Like he basically gets to design an entire encounter, and it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, it's just a fun creative thing where you get to just play with the sets and come up with a cool story. That's
with
makes sense.
with constraints, right? So it's like trying to limit it to
Yeah.
not a ton of sets, like do a thing like, and just sort of show people some ideas and tips and tricks and whatnot. I'm liking it. It's one of our longest running things now that we're going around
Yeah,
2 years.
We've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Speaking of
Year,
coming
year and a half.
around, speaking of coming around a year, our anniversary episode's coming up. We need to really figure out what the heck we're gonna do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're like
Yeah.
roughly a month away from
Yeah.
a year of Twitch.
I really want to
Less than
run.
a month away.
Right, it's the last week of February or second to last week of February or something. It's coming fast. I really would like to run a Vorpal game for people for viewers because we have so many awesome diehard viewers. Do a lottery for or whatever, you know. I don't know how you become eligible. I don't know how we work it, but I think it would be fun. I don't know. Unless people have a better idea, I'm totally open to that too.
I'm just trying to figure out how we would pull that off. Just there's so many.
People would have to submit or something, or you know, you'd um, maybe we do a you submit during the show. Is there a way to capture submission? Like, can people type in a phrase and then we capture all the people that did that, and we do it 2 weeks in a row to give people two chances to enter, and then we do a drawing to see who the top four people are, and then we run a Vorpal game for them? Is that insane?
To hold on to them for a while, I don't know. We could
We just
roll.
we just need to capture the names.
So you can roll like several. I guess yeah, we could just put a list together of it. Man, that would be. Because then it gets into a thing of like making sure that everybody like has a compatible schedule, and
Well, it would
everybody.
be on and on the Anvil. We would do it as like our episode.
And then it also
Like,
is like a tech thing as well.
yep. Well, maybe that's the
Make
thing.
sure
Like,
everybody's able to.
to enter, you have to hit the tech requirements, whatever the which
Yeah.
it's not terribly steep.
It's not steep if you're just joining into it. Yeah. Man, especially if we keep it simple. If we keep it down to like 4 players, it wouldn't be a
Yeah,
huge deal.
four
And then,
players or even three.
then
You know, like having just done this game, you know, the Dungeon Dudes game, 3 players and a dungeon master, and it's like, you know, there's no break in the action whatever because there's so you know it's tight and fast, and it helps you kind of just sort of zip through things whatever.
that was one
Um,
thing I was noticing last night. I was watching. I was just like, I kind of envy like low player games just because you get to focus on on a couple things and like really flesh them out as opposed to
yep.
having to. You have less things that you have to try and satisfy at once.
Yep.
I guess. So
Yeah.
it lets you like kind of go deeper on things.
And everybody gets you know, it's hard not to be involved because there's only 3 people, so it's like, you know, like kind of everything, it's kind of all hands on deck for most things, so it seems like yeah, it's kind of a strangely magic number. So maybe we try that, we do three players.
Yeah.
Let's hammer that out
We could,
before
yeah,
next week.
Yes, we could try that. I'll figure out the best way to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe having them submit through a Google form or something would be
Yep.
more efficient than
Yeah.
because then we could like have like written out the like requirements like you
Yeah.
know you need to be able to like run this sort of
It
thing.
has a little thing up here, and
Um,
yeah.
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 Outside of that, like the only thing I can think of that might be a problem is like making sure that we don't get. I trust most of the people that watch us to like not be like there to like troll and like be awful like on stream, but like that's the only thing I
Well,
can think of.
well,
That
can
could be
we
a problem. But I imagine most people watching us are not going to do stuff like that. So
can we have some sort of requirement, like you have to have, I don't know, a certain, can we track how many points people have or any of this, like is there some way to verify, or maybe just you have to recognize the name to be in the drawing, right? Like, I mean, I feel like you recognize all the
names.
yeah.
Community activity tab. Let me check. I think I might actually be able to see who the. No, that doesn't do that.
Well, I don't know, we'll sort it out, but I feel like there's some way to like, yeah, sort out, make sure it's, because the idea is we want to reward viewers, right? We want to reward you guys who are tuning in. Like, we have the same core group of folks that have been tuning in nonstop since the get go. So it's like, you know,
We could theoretically make the channel points the entry like thing to like get on the list. But then if they don't get into the game, it's
yeah, I don't want to burn.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. We'll find
Something we
a
can
way.
do off stream.
Or maybe
Yeah.
there's a simple, like it's a token amount of channel points, right? So you just have to have watched once or at least to like have, I don't know how it works. Well, we'll figure it out. All
I
right.
mean, I'll recognize most people that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Or they have to write a sentence of why they, right? What did you learn on the Anvil to prove that you watched it or something?
What's your favorite on the Anvil episode?
Oof, is there even such a thing? All right. So our last item now. We can go do resin, right? There's no other news.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one last bit of news, and that is something we hadn't mentioned yet. An update on the resin sets.
He needs something to brandish. So it's just scissors.
Nate's sad because he can't find his dagger.
I don't know where my dagger is. I need a dangerous thing to twirl around. What do we do? So we've got painted castings of both limited edition resin pieces from Wildlands, and so we are prepping to open the Pledge Manager early February, first or second week of February, which is super exciting. And we're gonna open it up for those. So we're reopening it. So if you didn't get the resin, you decided you want to, you can add it because it's made at a separate factory and doesn't have metal molds, so we can tack it onto the order. And we're gonna open it up by popular request to terrain trays. And we're figuring out we're either gonna do just water-based terrain trays or we're gonna do all surface layer scenery. It'll be either we'll open up to everything, to battle boards, texture mats, and terrain trays, depending on what's sort of easier to toggle on in the Pledge Manager. Like instead of having if we have to manually do all the things, we're just gonna turn on the whole category. We'll see, because essentially, aside from the battle board frames, which might be a problem if suddenly we got like 1,000 people ordering them or something. I think we're like the rest of the stuff is easy. Doesn't require molds, and we can add it to the order. It's not a big deal. So I don't know. We'll sort it out. But it's in the next couple of weeks we'll open that up. But to get you excited, we have a little teaser. You ready?
Every show just like incredibly zoomed in picture, like three pixels.
That's too neat. So this is a photo that Aaron took yesterday. This is like literally hot off the presses. Do people have presses anymore? Does anybody press? That's an old expression, I guess, at this point.
Like the printing press?
Yeah, right.
I mean, kind of.
Because like the newspaper was hot when it came off the printing press, And, well, it's so this Aaron took this yesterday of the Moonlit Arch. Pretty exciting. She can build and light some beautiful scenes, man.
Yeah, this set of pictures is really wild.
Yeah.
Like when she posted them yesterday, I was just like, these are some of like the coolest pictures I think we've gotten.
Yeah. And you know what we'll do? Whenever we open the thing, we'll show off the resin on the air. So we'll do that on the Anvil. We'll show off. We'll play with the pieces on air, and maybe we'll do a build with them or something. But like, let's plan for that early Feb. Be a resin.
Wait, are those transparent gems on the top? Yeah, that was a new change to the Griffin. So the Griffin statue was initially like that kind of ruined, like broken statue. But we got some feedback that people would really like to have intact ones, so they could use them like in their towns and stuff. So instead of doing like a ruined Griffin statue, there's now two slightly different intact Griffin statues, so that they can be used to like frame a like entrance to like a nice building or something.
Or buy like 8 of the resin sets, then you have like 16 to like line your throne room with. Or I don't know. People are gonna find cool uses for them.
Yeah, and then also another thing in regards to those cool uses. One thing we noticed on the forums, like back when the resin was initially being shown, was people are saying they wish that the base and the arch could separate. And those are actually separate pieces. You can use just the arch by itself, or just the pool part of it by itself if you want to.
And the dais, the Archaean dais, fits perfectly in there too. Michelle designed that so it sits into the floor, and like it's gonna be awesome. We'll play with it on the air, and show you that in the Threshold of the Worlds, and show you the details, and it'll be really fun to play with. So what?
I hear your kids running around.
Oh, endlessly. I go figure. My kids have a lot of energy. Where does it come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you show us while the PM is open? Yeah, when
Yeah.
Pledge Manager reopens, we'll mess around with it.
Well, whenever that opens, that week we'll open them up on the Anvil. We'll show them off. We'll see what we got. You know what? Also, we're I think starting next month we can start talking cities, talking next Kickstarter, showing some whatnot. Clay is just starting to get pushed around, and we'll have we can start talking about what we're thinking, what our plans are, what I don't know, what's a cooking. We got All right.
Yeah, we never talked about stuff this early before, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. Talk through the process, and with the caveat of everything could change, right? So it's like you're gonna kind of see the process as it goes. So by the time we launch in October, whatever it'll be, you'll have seen how we got to where we're getting to. So don't
People
get.
are wondering. People are wondering how the life and death trees look. They also look extremely good. We might be holding on to that one.
You'll have to wait and see in a couple
We can't
weeks.
show you everything right now.
It's gotta be something to be excited about. The
They
Threshold
look
of Worlds
extremely
is
good.
awesome. Yeah,
Threshold of Worlds pictures are great.
yeah, I'm
Yeah. So
excited.
May says the Twitch anniversary is February 18th.
Jeez, that's
Exactly.
soon. When? What? Who's on first?
A little less than a month.
Okay. So I don't know
Yeah.
what is Tuesday, 3rd, 10th. Oh wow, so like the 17th. If my mental math is correct, is the 17th is a Wednesday. So then that will be maybe our
Um,
anniversary day.
Instead of doing mental math, I'm just gonna look at the.
There's a thing
So
called a
that
calendar.
Thursday. So it'll be a Thursday. That the.
Yeah, but so we can celebrate on the 17th, the Wednesday.
Yeah, we can do that.
Nice. That'd be
We just
fun.
maybe we'll do like a celebratory week. Maybe that whole week we'll just think of
That's
fun stuff to do.
classically overambitious Dwarven Forge.
I
Why celebrate for a day when we can do it for a week?
look.
should we
My birthday has never like gotten to be a big deal. So like,
should we stream for every night for a week? Is that what you're saying?
I yeah, like this will be my birth week basically. I see that happen all the time. I see all these kids I went to school with and everything talking about how they celebrate their birth week or their birth month. Like, fine,
Month?
I'm gonna do birth week for Twitch.
All
Why
right,
not?
so you heard it here. We're streaming the entire month of February. Done.
That'll like give us time to get those games in and stuff too. You know,
Sold.
if we do the games, if we do the games.
What day is your birthday? Of birth?
January 3rd. So it always gets kind of
Wait, That's you already missed it, dude.
yes. I'm claiming Twitch's birthday as like a birth week thing. This is like a living
Oh,
vicariously
okay.
thing.
Got
It's not a.
it.
Also,
Got it.
hey, that means, that means the Valentine's Day is that Sunday.
So what does that mean?
I don't know yet,
Okay.
but I'm just pointing out. Just pointing out, Valentine's Day is the Sunday of the week that's our first anniversary.
Anniversary week. Got it. So we have to have like a meaningful date
Yeah.
with like yeah.
Gotta do some kind of like romantic stream where we take the Twitch chat on a date on Sunday
Three lucky viewers.
to celebrate our anniversary.
Sure, that'll go
It's,
over.
it's our anniversary. It's our anniversary and Valentine's Day.
It'll-
So
it'll
you
go
can't
over-
forget it.
It'll go well with my wife. Will be really happy about that one.
Well, bring her too.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
It's a double date.
That's what we'll do. Yeah, we'll just stream your Valentine's Day plans.
I'll come with my wife, and you'll come with the chat,
I'll
and
I'll
it'll
roll,
be.
I'll roll the cart over to a nice restaurant. We'll run like a 600-foot Ethernet cable back to the office.
We could get to the pine box. Could probably get a yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so let's I forgot my.
Oh, everybody's shouting happy birthday, Nate.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, 45.
Yeah.
It's a big one
Nice.
because it rounds up to 50. Um. So yeah. Well, let's build. Let's build and talk some topics. Right? Are we done with the news?
Basically, yeah. The only stuff I got left is like doing the fan building stuff.
It's goodbye news. All right. So I want to build. So we'll do a build and chill, and we got some topics. Chris has got some topics for discussion. What I'm thinking is, so last week we did a fun cliffside ambush, which I got halfway through this weekend. It went really, they were not expecting an ambush.
Yeah.
Go figure.
What did they think was gonna happen on that big empty? All right.
I don't know. It was like they were really more. They were just concerned with. They didn't end up getting horses. There was a whole thing, and they were more just concerned like, can we jump over it with our horses? Can we think like it? And my brother's been playing a long time. He should have been like they should have been more suspicious. I don't know, but like, yeah, they were not expecting an ambush. But I didn't, I didn't make it super brutal. I let it start as a fun sort of reveal and role play thing. There's this banner hob that has a lock of hair from one of the characters, and it's been tracking them. And so I made this his band, um, led by a drow priestess, who's like, because the banner hob can't talk, so he can't really be the front man. But so it was sort of this. It's basically like a super villain. Like I made like each of the sort of the evil version of each of the PCs. So there's like 4 nemesis, nemesi,
Nemesis.
nemesis.
Nemesis. With an E at the end instead of an I.
So
I don't know why I know this, but yeah, it's Nemesis.
So they got faced for these 4 nemesis. 3 revealed themselves at first, and then the last one jumped out in surprise. And so fun thing, and fire from the ground, from the oil, and the whole. And it hasn't even gotten brutal yet. I don't think they realize how bad it's gonna be yet, because they were like, I gave them the chance to negotiate, right? I was like, oh, you could. But we just want the item, they're bounty hunters. We're here for the one thing. We don't care about your lives. We just want the item. And they're like, we don't negotiate with you. And I'm like, oh, here we go. We'll see what happens. So, should get lively. But anyway, so 2 weeks from now, they're gonna go on they're gonna go on an aerial assault to the abyssal shore. Do you remember when we were building out the World Dwarf Forge? Eli did the abyssal shore. It was like basically just an excuse to like use lava pieces or something. It's sort of an undefined area where there was an abyssal incursion ages ago, and the area is corrupted and put in this sort of endless stream of demons there. And so there's paladins out of Castle Sagamore have to constantly flying sorties there and like just sort of killing off the demons to stop the thing from spreading. Anyway, there's gonna be a terrible big one, so the players are gonna have to sort of drop in and do a mission. And my thought was, I could, especially I've got a little bit of lead time, if I could take some pictures or maybe turn it into some parchment thing or whatever, let them kind of plan out their attack and have different areas. I don't know exactly what they're attacking yet, but like have a couple, like let them choose either zone A or zone B or something to come in on, and then have 2 different builds, and we could do a thing. So here's the question. So I want them to attack a thing, feel like kind of like, it's like a Mission Impossible-y thing or whatever. We're dropping them in, and they've got to like infiltrate this thing, which could be a fortress, it could be a cave, it could be maybe it's not a protected thing, maybe it's just like a pedestal of pain, it's maybe whatever. And I don't know, but it's something that feels epic and daunting and terrifying and abyssal, right? So my theory was we could use lava, because I haven't done a lava build yet at home, and it could be, well, I'll tell you what it can't be. It probably can't be much Aranthor, because I used a pretty big chunk of my Aranthor collection on the build that's still built over there. Although I do have a little bit. We could do lava invading Aranthor. We could do sort of like have some mountain base with like lava beating. The idea being like a terrible, terrifying, clearly enemy territory, right? Like this is like the abyss has had a sort of a foothold here for a while, and there is just like, it is a dangerous, unstable area. So
what if they're moving through, and you've got like a kind of like crag built out of like Aranthor stuff, and at a certain turn something happens, either somebody can trigger it or something, but that like bursts and it reveals that it's like a volcano, and now that's swapped out with a volcano, and like every turn like more magma is like flowing down and taking up more of the space.
That's not crazy, other than having to lay down more. But I could just do it with tiles and then put out like, I like spreading active eruption is fun, and it's a really fun gag we can do at the table. I'm worried about having enough Aranthor to base it with. Actually, I have a ton of floors. I found another stockpile of stuff under there. Did I bury the thing?
Kodiak Bear says winding burrows around and over lava.
Ooh.
There's some really cool stuff you can do with burrows.
It also feels kind of chaotic and abyssal.
Yeah. Like the idea that they've like torn these holes through torn these paths through.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like a more civilized.
Yeah. It should be
path.
it's got to be feral and terrifying or whatever. There, that's bonkers. That's my kind of. That is my kind of bonkers. Any other suggestions? Like what else?
Oh, and if they're going through the burrows, maybe the lava starts coming in behind them afterwards. They have to keep moving forward fast enough.
Oh,
The lava like starts filling the tunnel.
oh, it's so good. It's so fun.
Burrows, the chutes and ladders of Dwarven Forge.
How do I turn
Let's
this
see.
on? Burrows mixed with Hellscape is a fun. If I had a bazillion, if I had a bazillion Wildlands Driftstones, which I don't because they don't exist yet, I would do like just an insane, like just floating, in just 200 floating Driftstones. But that's not. Anybody have anything that tops Burrows mixed with Hellscape, which is a wild. That is wild.
What if we do that for the build of the month? Do we have enough burrows in stock to do that or no?
No idea, but it's wildly weird, but could be good. Let's do it. If there's no,
I mean, if not now, when? Right?
you're right. Yeah. Well, let's try it. Let's test drive this thing and see what happens. Do people? All right. So here's the question: do I use the pedestal of pain as a thing? Because I've got a bunch of pedestals of pain, which is a neat looking thing. It is cold today. I feel like I'm out of uniform to put on a sweatshirt, but I'm freezing down here. I have no heat in the garage here.
My landlords decided today that we didn't need heat, so the heat hasn't been on, and it's been very, very cold today. Use terrain trays that are balanced up 90 degrees on their sides, so the players are walking along walls rather than the floors. It's all Escher-like.
Yeah.
We can steal some techniques from that like cool cathedral build that we saw where they built like in 3 dimensions.
Yep.
We have a lava river. That we're talking about build of the month. Now we're talking about doing a build for his home game right now. Although who knows, maybe it could inspire something for build of the month.
Yeah, we're just an excuse to have something to build while we talk. It's like really what we're looking for. So maybe
Nate always needs to have something to do with his hands.
facts.
Use KS6 Driftstones?
I have a few. Yeah, I can throw a few of those in the mix.
Apparently we have hundreds of burrows in stock, so we could do some burrow stuff. If we wanted to. How about a cave-in that drops them into the burrows, and you climb out, and as you do, it starts to cave in more. So if you dump them into the burrows, an unstable area, so there's like volcanic stuff happening. It drops them into a set of burrows, and they have to find their way out before it fills up. And it's like collapsing and changing the whole time.
I'm trying to talk into my light, and it turns out it doesn't work. Too many moving arms next to each other. Maybe a multi-level burrows build that burrows into. Maybe it's burrows and caverns that then gets to lava, gets to magma, and then starts erupting out. I've got some driftstones here, not a ton, but we can play with those guys because I'm floating. That feels very, very abyss-like. What other abyssy bits?
Underdoom. We've got a lot of Underdoom stuff that's pretty good for that.
The bulk of my Underdoom, I still haven't broken down. I did this big giant Underdoom build, which is still, it's the bottom layer of my layer cake. I can build up with these trays. I can stack up there, so it's the bottom layer over there. I haven't broken it down because I figured they were going to end up having to go back there to deal with this hag. That's where the Banderhob came from. So I do have a little bit of Underdoom left.
Apparently, you said you wish that you used a light panel on one of the burrows builds you did last year.
Oh, we did it on the air. We did it on the air here where it was the egg sacs. It was the
you wanted to shine it through the eggs.
The green egg sacs under there. Oh yeah, who said that? They're brilliant. They're
Amy, I guess.
she's, she's the best. Cross. Yeah. Let's. Okay. So all right. So I'm gonna do the gag. I'm gonna do the light panels with the glowing eggs gag, and the lava and the drift stones, and uh, we'll see what happens. Like this is
Just how many crazy things? How many of our like crazy like active kinetic pieces can be put into one?
It's the abyss.
Build?
It's crazy, right? Like there's no
Yeah.
rules, right? Like we're gonna try spires and glowing eggs definitely. Um,
I've got one very specific question. I'm curious if we could address it real quick. Uh, would we be able to reprint the resin Caverns to Dungeon transition piece in Dwarvenite at some point?
Cameras. Oh, that's a cool piece.
That's only in resin, right?
Yeah. The problem is, I mean, yes, we can conceptually do anything. The problem is it's twofold. One, we have to tool a mold for it, and it's a big, sizable 4x4 piece. There's actually two. There's two dungeons to caverns transition pieces. Let's look at those. Those are cool.
I think the problem is we'd have to include it in a set that would use this. We'd have to touch on caverns or dungeons again. Maybe we could include it in something. I don't know.
We're going close, Kenya. All right. Oh, and let's get snapping there.
Let's get right in there.
All right. So this was one of what do I want to be? I want to be there. Okay, hold on. Boop. Ah.
Camera's a little warm. Oh, yeah, there we go. Wait.
Yeah. It's this tripod is not. All right. Close enough. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't bounce the. So this is a cool one, right? So this is one of the resin pieces, and it's caverns here. It's a 4-inch regular like room. You can build your room, and then it transitions to dungeon bits here.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
Got the dungeon sun right there.
it's an expensive piece to tool. Problem one. Problem two. The style of the caverns doesn't quite match. The style of the caverns doesn't quite match our modern cavern styling, right? The sculpting has evolved since the days. And the other problem is the dungeon. This is the cool old fieldstone dungeons where the stones are rounded and more irregular. So basically neither the dungeon nor the cavern matches the existing stuff very well. And here's the other one.
So it'd be a situation where we would probably want to resculpt it to match the new looks.
Yep. And so this one's it's more pronounced where you can really see the field stone stuff. And it I'll definitely say there were really good transitions in the resin pieces. Like we did much better transitions than we haven't done some like these really, these cool dedicated transition pieces. So
that is excellent.
Yeah, it's a really, especially when it all, it built in, it's really neat. So I don't know, transitions has been a thing that I don't know, it's been tickling at the back of my brain, but we haven't really
It's hard to
done
figure
it
out how to do them, right? Because like it feels weird to sell it. It feels weird to make it and produce it like in a Kickstarter where you can't actually get the stuff to use it. So like if we're not doing both caverns and dungeons in that Kickstarter, like are the backers going to feel justified putting the money in? But then we can't really do a Kickstarter that's exclusively transitions because then that only appeals to people who already have our stuff.
It does. It's just stuff I keep wanting to jam in, and then it always gets cut for whatever. Because being able to connect your world, like all your stuff, to make the seamless world is very satisfying. Important, but I don't know. We'll get there.
There's got to be some way we can make them.
Yeah. There's, I mean, there's a way to do everything. It's just time, bandwidth. Uh,
Yeah.
all right. So we're gonna do some lava. Let's go to build mode.
How about like you did for Pathfinder? Could do a pre-order thing, maybe.
That's not crazy at all, right? Like a
If we we just do like a pre-order thing for like a small campaign, small module thing that uses both caverns and dungeons, so then we can use that to produce the transition pieces.
Well, why just
and then
limit
put those
caverns and dungeons? Like we can,
Well, or anything else, yeah, like something that just has like use cases for those transitions.
Yeah, we just or just do transitions, connecting.
Man,
the
I wish we'd done that in Plankstone now. Oh well.
Well, all right. So, we got tri-spires. We got things like. So what are we? All right. So burrowing, crazy burrows. And are we going? Are we? What's our driver here? What is their mission?
What's happened in the story so far? That like why are they going to this area?
Because I thought it would be cool. They're going because it's gonna feel epic. Because they're gonna get flying mounts and they're gonna go raging in. Because the Yinagu is trying to get a foothold to break through and rampage the world with his gnolls. There's the great astral convergence is happening, and all this. It's sort of everybody's kind of moving and jockeying to try and take over. So there's gonna be a huge abyssal incursion where it's just a bunch of demons get dumped here and are like, if they can stay long enough, that's gonna just create the portal and it's gonna be terrible. So they have to basically go in and stop the source of or try and cut off the source that's feeding this portal, maybe.
Okay. So do you want that to be a person or an object?
I think an object. My theory was my nephew's character can, every now and then I trigger this demon, he turns into a Goristo. So I thought it was going to be a big chunk of the area is going to be prescribed against anything that wasn't a demon. So they're like, it's impossible, no one can get in. We need a demon to get in there. And he said, well, actually, I'm just the demon you're looking for, kind of, and he could be like, so like they have to go in because like so he has to do like one thing, like he and one of the other players have to do one thing while the other players are doing a second thing or something, like sort of two concurrent things where they're like feeding each other, just like the Mission Impossible thing where they go in and like Tom Cruise is like doing some nonsense, torturing himself, while the other guys are like, okay, we got to do this and this and this, and
So what if? So what if that is the situation? What if it is like an infiltration sort of thing where he can just go in because he's part
he's
demon.
A demon,
and so he's like, maybe he gets to like
go
past the and the rest of them have to take the other path.
You know how you always have to climb through like you have to climb through the ventilation ducts and whatever. So the burrows are like the ventilation ducts, right? They've got to navigate in through the ventilation ducts while he's like rolling into the main thing, and then maybe they have to detonate. Maybe they have to like blow up the eggs at the same time that he's gonna like surprise attack from inside.
Maybe he's trying to keep them distracted so they don't notice, like as they're being sabotaged.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. This is.
And then if something goes wrong, then it becomes a thing of like, okay, we have to get in there and like rescue him and get him out.
Yeah, something's definitely gonna go wrong. That's the only thing we know is gonna go right, is that something's gonna go wrong. So let's do the glowing eggs. They got to go down and blow up the glowing eggs. I don't know what the glowing eggs are or why, but they definitely blow up glowing eggs. We'll put some, and then lava. You know what? There's gonna be an eruption partway through. Like if things are going too well, there'll be an eruption that's going to then introduce lava on both fronts at the same time. Particularly if these burrows start filling up with lava, that gets nasty. And or if we got some drift stones, maybe the drift stones are getting erratic and moving, right? Because nothing better than moving drift stones, particularly. Maybe they get down to the lowest area and the lava breaks through there, and there's like drift stones over the lava, or the whole floor gets wiped out and replaced by lava, but all that's left are the drift stones. So this is ambitious. I like it.
We're getting a lot. We're getting a lot of ideas coming in too.
Yeah, what do you
Finley's
got?
saying, okay, what if the they aren't really burrows, but what they are is they're the dried up blood vessels of a huge Earth Titan
Oh,
that is dormant, and this will awaken the Titan if they don't stop it. Basically,
yes.
what if the lava is part of the Titan awakening?
Yes, it's its blood. Something like
Yeah,
yes.
like the lava starts flowing through the passages again, and that's the
Yes.
Titan starting to wake up.
Yes.
Uh, Dylan Poison suggests using the glitter walls from the dungeons. I think it's the Wall of Force, and using it to
Glitter
block
walls.
off demon-only passages, so only demons can go through the Wall of Force.
Oh, fun. Okay, hang on. We gotta. Wait, keep them coming. Where did I just put all those walls of force? Just pull them out.
Mission Heart Attack. Uh,
All right. Darn it! Where does? Oh,
the
yeah.
glowing eggs are a unique weed with medicinal purposes. The one that hired them wishes them gone. So his remedies are the only cure for an illness a noble child needs.
So the CBD salesman wants he wants to knock out the competition with. All right, hang it.
Lava's like the time to race through. Yeah, so maybe they're
Yeah.
doing. So maybe it's like all stealth, and then the lava goes off, and it's like now becomes a speed mission.
Yep. Well, of course.
I need a Twitch channel when I'm planning my sessions. I've been surprised. There's a number. I've been looking through the scene. There's a number of people who do their campaign planning on Twitch, and it's cool to see.
Sly Flourish does his sessions on Twitch. Like every Sunday, he preps, which is really fun. I don't know
Yeah,
anybody that
it's
just
a-
shamelessly steals all the ideas from their viewers and uses them. But it's like, it's just the best. It was like it's wellspring of brilliance. Okay, so
then you get all this credit in the sessions. Like, well, how did you think of that stuff?
can I
Like,
tell you?
I don't know. Just
No, they are so unimpressed by any like. I'm laying out these like multi-$1,000 Dwarven Forge builds every week, like a different thing for. Like the kids are just like, yeah, whatever. This is just sort of this is how D&D works, right? This is just sort of like standard issue. Like
it's
nobody,
always this good.
nobody is like.
They haven't had to sit through the 18 player 3.5 homebrew campaign.
Right? Right, 2 hours later, it's your one turn to attack. You know, it's like no, there's all these props and these maps and these things that are just like, oh yeah, no, thanks. I'm like, great.
People were actually wondering how the last session went. Like, how do they respond to all the story ideas and stuff that came up? Like, you said they weren't expecting an ambush, but what ended up happening?
You know what is they were so I was trying to I was trying to I was trying to lull them into a sense of security so they wouldn't be expecting the ambush. So a big chunk of the beginning was sort of navigating in the town, and they got someone was spying on them. There was a halfling, this female halfling with a hood that was like they caught her spying, and they saw her, she was signaling something in Thieves' Cant to somebody else. They couldn't see him, but she got away, and they didn't know. So they knew someone was watching them, but then they kind of forgot about it, and they went and they sort of I don't know. They realized that like time was of the essence. They had to get to this castle that's a day's ride away, and so they got on horses, and they finally doing this thing. And it was all everything's theater of the mind, theater of the mind, theater of the mind. I described the journey. I'm like going to all these details on the journey, and then there's like a wagon in the in this narrow part of the road where the cliff is falling off to the water, and it's a little bottleneck, and there's a broken down wagon, and like it's twilight, so it's dim light is set in. All set like on paper you're like this is like the absolute ambush setup. It was like there and they were just sort of like contemplating sort of like, oh yeah, well I think I can we could probably jump it. I think let's go faster and do this, and like they're just not even like, hey, maybe we should stop and help the dude whose wagon broke down or whatever. No, they were like how can we just get past this wagon and keep going, just going to castle. And then as they get close they see that same female halfling steps out from behind the wagon, and then pulls off her hood, and it's a hat of disguise, and morphs up into the Banderhob. And they're like, irk! Pull up the horses, and then two of the massive, like, anti-paladin steps out, and then the Drow priestess, and they're like, she's like, we're here for the item, and jumps in there. And then they still didn't really think it was so bad. And then the fourth guy comes out from behind and sets off the oil-soaked ground, and the wall of fire like bursts up in the middle of the thing. And they I don't think they realize how terrible it's about to get yet. But and it's twilight, so it's dim light, so like the banner hob is stealth active and it's dropping out into hiding, and there's like like it's about to just be absolutely heinous, and I don't think it's sunk in yet. They're only on the second round of combat. No. Yes, second or first? I can't even remember. I have it written down. But it's like it just started to like escalate, and the drow priestess did divination to find out which of them had the rod. So she's like, kill the elf witch first, and then they're all turning it. So I don't know. It's gonna get lively, and the NPCs are like just terribly overstated. Like it's not a fair fight. Like they, but we'll see what happens. Well, let's build. Wait, I have all. Here's a question: Can we somehow justify using the Lemure pits, even though they are supposed to be Lemures and devils? Like, is there a way to work those into the abyssal something? Because they are just. That's one of Nina's finer and more disturbing.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe as the Titan starts awakening and the lava starts coursing, like the Lemure arms like start kind of like maybe they're like the antibody system.
It's the white blood cells right there. They're kind of.
So as they're trying to get through, like these guys are like, oh, we got to clear these passages out. We got to get rid of these things.
Oh. I love it.
Guild of Poison is saying you got to have a session where they go to a strange plane of existence where everything is black and white graph paper. Just everything's two-dimensional.
Oh, I love it. It's like Flat World. Anybody ever read that book about a square? Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah. As
It's
far
like
as
the introduction to a lot of high concept stuff for a lot of people.
yeah, it's coolly mind blowing. Let's go to the overhead.
Let's see.
You know what we're gonna do, which is gonna be just awesome. We're going to. I'm not gonna tell them it's a Titan, right? I'm not telling them it's like there's there's some sort of demonic war machine or whatever you describe, like euphemisms to be like it's there's a terrible they got some sort of terrible like doom engine that thing, but they won't realize that it's an entity until they get to the heart or something or whatever. They get inside, like once you're in, the thing is then the revelation will come of like it's like the the Millennium Falcon docking in the meteor, right? You don't realize until it's too late that you're inside a thing. Yeah, because there was a greater 1,000 years ago. Bessarox, the red dragon, went toe to toe with a demon here, and this is the site of their battle. And the Rod of Seven Rifts remains, and that's like the link to it. And maybe they think it's Yanagu that he battled, but it's not. It was actually this crazy Titan demon that was like just this unbelievably massive thing. They I love a massive like. Did anybody ever play the what was it, Earthshaker module, AD&D module? There was like gnomes built like a giant clockwork war machine. It was like a huge, like 100-foot tall metal giant. It was a precursor to the Iron Giant in the movie. And you had to like get through the. I'm sure someone here knows that one because they're.
Lemure is French for creepy arms, right?
I think it's like, isn't it French for melted spirit or something? Spirit pudding. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in this overlay.
What do you?
But it's a little weird.
Oh.
I'm in a very.
Wait a second. What incarnation?
I don't know what happened, but
Huh.
the viewers are probably happier.
What did... Man, I don't... How did you shrink? What is going on?
I don't know. Just let me
Slack
build
and
your
I are in
PT.
a fight today. Or OBS and I. Whoever. Somebody.
It's probably okay.
Here. You can see the difference between color temperatures. There you go. How's that?
Yeah, there we go. That seems to be working. Nice. All right, let's see. Got it. The Lemur are not trying to pull the players in. They're trying to keep something from coming out. However, the players' actions prove a detriment to the Lemur.
Of course.
The Lemur slowly gets sent back to their realm, eventually weakening their hold against Big Bad Evil Guy.
Ooh, they were like a demonic, a devilish virus introduced in the demon to take it down.
Yeah, maybe they're what put the Titan
Yeah.
in the first place.
Yeah. So you don't
So
actually want to.
as it starts awakening, they reactivate to try and shut it back down.
Oh boy. And of course, then the players mess everything up by destroying them. That's just mean.
There's a blood war in the Titan.
It's a blood war in the blood war. It's like
Interesting. Apparently, Lemurs were originally the spirits of restless dead in ancient Roman myth.
Gary Gygax lifted. He lifted like a champ. Anything?
Ah, man, I love old. I love like pulling from like mythology that isn't like just the dominant stuff that we always know about.
Yeah.
Like pulling the more obscure stuff. I just got a bunch of sculpts from Alien Lab. I need to assemble them so I can show you. Right now, they're all in pieces. They have a set of miniatures that are all like creatures from Slavic mythology, and so stuff like the Striga and Noon Wraiths and stuff like that. They're really cool sculpts. I'm very excited. The Striga kind of look like malnourished, more feral werewolves.
Nice.
Kinda.
Yeah,
So.
I figure an unfed werewolf would be pretty feral and angry, huh?
I think that's one way to put it. I need to get more glue. We actually ran out of glue. I can assemble it after I get glue. Let's see. So,
Oh, should we talk about
yeah, it's about 8 o'clock. I'm wondering if we should go into
Giveaway?
the discussion topics or if we should do the fan build / giveaway now.
Let's do fan build / giveaway now.
Cool. Should Lemur be the giveaway word?
Yes.
All right. Lemur, Lemure. We'll be giving away a painted starter dungeon or unpainted. If you want it unpainted, you can just ask us and we can send that as well. We can only send it to U.S. addresses. So if you would like to be entered to win a starter dungeon, go ahead and type Lemur in the chat. And then we will do that drawing after we show off our fan build, which is very cool and also kind of relevant to what we're building today.
Before I build this out, do I? Hey, Gregory. Oh, thank you. Am I overbuilding this? Should I It's probably.
You're asking that now?
Well, no.
I've never heard you ask that.
I know, but I'm. Well, I was gonna build. I was gonna pave this whole thing with light panels, which might be overly aggressive. I'm probably not gonna need. Because I just need the area where the egg things are gonna be. So let me pump the brakes a little bit here. I was getting excited by the idea of just rolling out.
I was wondering how many eggs do you have? Although I was thinking I guess building them all in line that would help with that, but.
Yeah. Well, but it's one of these chicken and egg things. I got to figure out where the heck it is to figure out where the light panels are gonna go. So it was kind of easier just to pave the whole thing, but that's a lot of light. Why don't I rough it out first, and then am I gonna regret this? How am I gonna do it? Why don't I? You know what I do? I'm gonna target a couple areas I kind of always have. And maybe I wonder if they start metagaming it, but I kind of always have the destination in the on the right side. I always start on the left side of the map and go to the right side of the map.
It's because you grew up on Mario, baby,
Facts.
and reading American literature as opposed to manga, I guess.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna put maybe there's two. There's got to be two sections of eggs, right? Like we gotta do one
You
over
know,
here.
what if you build it where like the part where the demon boy is going to is like the center, and the whole burrow system runs around it, like so there's
I
not
was
a left
gonna
to right as much.
I was gonna do two. I was just gonna do two builds, and get wildly
Oh, okay.
ambitious, right? Because theoretically, I can do a second camera in Vorpal, right?
You can, yes. You just need a second phone.
Right. So I think I'm gonna just do some crazy A, camera B, like jumping back and forth between two maps. Like I don't
It's
know.
just like,
why
okay,
not?
it's this person's turn. Oh, we should do something like that for one of our games.
Yeah. Like why not? Like because
You know,
I'd
for the
rather
split
just
party situation.
I'd rather make this Burrows build just insane and really hard to navigate, and like just I want to melt their faces with the Burrows build, and then at the same time have the freedom to just make a big, big nonsense on the other side, and then yeah, it just gives enough because I only have 2 feet by 3 feet on these things, so it's not a lot of like I can't actually accomplish that much in. I mean, I can 2 feet 2 by 3 is great, but I need more.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot that this wasn't like in person. So doing the two camera thing with two builds is a very good idea.
Should be fun, conceptually.
Yeah.
So we do one eggs there.
You guys could do a mirror universe. Some of them can see the bad guys, and others do not see the bad guys, and show only one view to some players and the other view to the other players. I don't think we can do it that exclusively. The
That
split would have to be like the people who are with you, and then the split off from the people who are online.
well, that was what I wanted to for the Wildlands game. That was my original. Do you remember originally for the finale? I wanted to do two different. I wanted to have the Shadowfell and the Feywild separate builds concurrently, and we're toggling between the two of them. And so you were like, yeah, that turns out that would have been a little complicated, but.
I love like during the pandemic when we cannot have like that many people in the same place. You're like, what if I do like a major production?
Two different builds and two identical builds with different features where things are changing, and then swapping it back and forth between the realities, and it's gonna happen.
It would have been one thing if we had. It would have been one thing if the build was smaller, but with like the size of that build.
If we weren't in the middle of a Kickstarter, A, and B, then had the that's right.
So this will be $1,000 Burrows build of the month.
Well, this is not gonna be build of the month. This is gonna be absurd. This is gonna be
Making depending on how this comes out, doing like a reduced version of it for build of the month might be cool though.
Yeah, well, it could be an inspiration, a jumping off point for sure. Let's say the consequence free building over here, where we can just kind of do whatever. All right, so
we should show the fan build as well.
Yes. Let's do it right now. All right, so we got.
So this one's very cool, and I think they're actually in chat today.
Drogo's fun.
It's very ironic that we wound up doing Burrows today.
Did you say it's very erotic?
Ironic.
Mm-hmm. I hear what I want to hear.
So this is a build that Dragos did. He posted on the forums a while back for his Avernus game. The thing that's like really awesome about it, though, and you'll see in one of the pictures in particular, is he used the burrows to make this like really intricate hive. Apparently, other people also heard erotic, so that's good.
Good. They hear what they want to hear, Chris. You're feeding the fans what they want to hear.
See that like Ridiculous Burrows build. It's wild. So the whole thing, it's a hell wasp hive. What is it? Like a hive of? Like I'm not actually familiar with that creature.
What is it?
It's supposed to be a hive for. I'm trying to remember like what it's called. Not a lemur. It's not a lemur hive. It's some sort of something wasp. I can't remember if it's hell wasp or.
Oh. It's gotta
But
be
it's-
Hell Wasp, no?
It's a very cool build. I don't know. It's really cool. I don't know. I feel like Burrows is one of the most overlooked sets that we have.
Yes.
I think people don't realize how much cool stuff you can actually do with it. Because like I didn't even realize you could do something like this with it. But every time I see somebody actually hell wasp, yeah, hell wasp nest.
They're
You can prepend hell to any creature really. Hell squirrels.
Hellhound.
penguins. Ooh, actually, hell penguins would be interesting. They're lava resistant.
they slide.
Like
They
just swim
slide
through
on lava.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be excellent actually.
Or what if they're in Stygia?
Yeah.
Then they're just like regular old penguins, but like with teeth and horns.
That's boring.
That's what.
Stygia Arcadia. Yeah. If you're gonna put the penguins in hell, like
Go all in.
yeah, go all in. Make them like lava penguins.
You do love your penguins.
Penguins are one of the most perfect animals, honestly. They're extremely cute. They're always fun to watch. They're very, very sociable.
They can survive.
There's this video going around on Twitter of two groups of penguins like passing by each other, and they stop for like 10 seconds to squawk at each other and like share information about like where good fishing spots are, and then they keep walking, but one of them gets confused and starts walking away with the other group. and then one of the ones he left notices and runs back and like slaps him, and he turns around and goes back and follows them. Like it's perfect. They're the perfect animal.
And
Reaper has some dire penguins. Yeah, I painted one of the dire penguins.
And they can survive. They can survive places where a lot of other things couldn't survive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're phenomenal.
they're
Like
pretty.
in almost every respect. Like they're funny, they're cute, they're resourceful, they're intelligent. They do everything.
So I'm paving. You know what I need to do?
Got more pictures. Haven't had time to post them yet. Well, be really excited to see them when you do post them. They're that's a really cool build.
That Burrows build's cool. And there's that hedge maze going on in there. There's like
There's a hedge maze. There's a lot going on in that build. It combines a lot of different sets.
Who was living in the tent at the top of the top of the world?
I don't know, but that's like a really that's not something I would think of when I think of going into Avernus, and it's really cool. It's one of those builds that makes me wish that I was like playing in that session, I'm gonna roll the giveaway real quick. We've had it going for a bit.
People, one last chance.
Yeah, one last chance. So in 30 seconds, I will roll the giveaway. If you want to be entered, type Lemur into chat. We can only ship to US. It's for a starter dungeon. Lemure.
Lemur.
Yes.
You will win a prize in French.
Yes. We can only ship. We can't ship to France, unfortunately. We're merely adopting the language.
Or I guess it was Latin, right? It was.
Is it Latin?
Wasn't it Roman mythology? He stole.
Oh, I
from?
guess I think I'm getting it confused with Amour.
It's amore.
I think because Amour is a French thing. Where is Six of Clubs? That's a really good question. He hasn't been here tonight.
Maybe.
Imagine some might be interested in what sets it took to build that hive. Yeah, I don't know much about Burrows at all, so.
I bet it was a Cree colony plus some stilt packs. Is my guess.
It's very vertical.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We have to tell 631. Can I get in there and enter 6 even though he isn't here? Just so he can still lose.
61. It's amazing.
6. But you weren't there, so we had to give it to someone else.
Oh, that's just mean.
All right, I'm gonna roll the giveaway.
I'm pulling out all my terrain trays in here because they add a lot of weight when you. So I got to transfer this.
It's going to Primo Danielson. Primo
Woo!
Danielson, you have won a
Start a
starter
dungeon.
dungeon. Let's. I'm gonna whisper you. I'm gonna get your email address. So we can get your shipping address, and then we'll get that sent off.
Mm-hmm. So I'm paving this thing with foam core risers, so that I can, if I do want to add another panel, conceptually it won't be. Well, first of all, it levels everything out, and then second of all, it shouldn't be too hard. Conceptually, it shouldn't be hard to swap it out if I need. If I get too far in there and I want to just say, ooh, and I can put train trays over if I want. I got options here.
The road to hell is paved with foam core risers.
If I had $1.
Let's see. Yeah, let me know when you want to dive into topics.
Yeah, let's dive. I think this build is definitely going to be a multi-session.
I'm extremely excited to see.
Might take us into next week.
Is this something you're planning on using this week?
No, I can honestly. I couldn't. This week, I think this whole next session is going to be this combat. I think they're going to be like if they don't try and negotiate, this is just going to be an absolutely brutal fight that's just going to go forever because these.
So you're still on the build from last week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they're still on that. They haven't resolved that yet.
You can sort of see it over there. It's still.
Are you going which
and then,
what narrative?
Then they have to go to the castle, and there's a whole thing with the. There'll be a whole thing in the castle. It's probably gonna be that could end up being a whole session, a whole bunch of info dump, and give them some props of some pages or whatever. And then they go fly this thing, and I was gonna have like an aerial combat on the way there, so that's gonna probably end up being a session. So I could theoretically, I have like 3 weeks. I could have anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks before I have to execute this.
You know what I realized we should do?
But it'd be nice to do maps, especially if this is like, it'd be cool to have like it's incorrect hand drawn map of where they need to go. Like it kind of the beginning it works, and then
if it's always shifting.
Yeah, because the abyss, right? So they kind of starts off okay, and then things just go, goes off the rails, and I don't know. What were you gonna say?
Hey, Goober Town, you're just in time. We're working on a build that's supposed to represent kind of the abyss. For a session that Nate's gonna be running in probably a couple weeks. It's they're currently working. Last week we built this kind of cool ambush build that he introduced them to, but they're still on that one for the next session. And then this one's a couple weeks away probably. But we're gonna do this like really. We're using like the Burrows sets to represent like the arteries and pathways like inside like a dormant Earth Titan. And then like lava's gonna erupt, and that's gonna be like his blood as he starts awakening, and it's gonna be it's a whole thing, but it's a very whole thing. Build. So we're gonna try to figure out how to do that.
First time we've ever done an ambitious build, so it's good.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? We should.
I'm afraid.
We should play. Well, I'm thinking about like the best way to like create synergy. And like we're doing like build of the month and stuff. We should do something where we use basically like a build of the month in a game. And so we do the game, and then like the next day, like release like the build of the month stuff or something, or maybe like or after or something. But like actually like play a session with that build of the month. Run some people through it.
All right.
I think that could be interesting.
What if we do this fan game, which is roughly slotted for like 3 week, third week of February 17th, we could run that on the March build of the month
before it comes out.
Yeah, they get to be the first people in the world, the only people in the world maybe, to play on the thing.
That could be sorted out. Okay.
We'd have to maybe almost not do a building of the build of the month in case they could get inside intel if they watch building of the build of the month. Though.
Well, so that's what I'm trying to figure out, right? Is could that be part of the process? Is that could basically be a playtesting session for the build of the month? Because like
Ex-
they don't know the final decisions that you make about
right,
what that
right, right.
encounter is going to be or anything. Could that
Yeah,
be like a thing that we do fairly often to like playtest the build of the month?
maybe. It's
We
let's try
probably
it.
don't really need to playtest those since like we're not
It's
actually
not
designing a
actually a real thing,
module. We're doing a
but
build.
conceptually the idea of doing like it's a fun because once again it's such a community, whatever. Um, I wonder if we could pull winners before building of the bill of the month. We could. You can kick them out of chat, right, or whatever. Like if they show up, like can we
Theoretically,
kick
but I
them
can't
out?
prevent them from like going and watching like the VOD and stuff. Like
Okay,
we can't.
fine. Because then the other thing is we have to have the rest of the when we do the game we've got to have stuff where the community gets to like vote on things slash throw stuff terrible things at them and wherever like so
That
there's
could be really fun. We could make.
oh
Oh
people
yeah, we
can
could tell
spend
them
their
like that they
points
can't be watching the stream while they're playing. So then in the chat we could be like
yeah
doing polls and stuff, and like maybe they can spend points to like
yeah to
throw a
influence
conversation
like
in or something.
where it's gonna go and we can do it's really fun and then people can buy the bill a
Oh,
month that we were playing on and it's like a
oh man, yeah, we could probably do something really cool doing like
yeah I'm
community games like
super
that, where the people who aren't playing can still be participating by like messing with the players or helping them in some way.
yeah both right or they you get to choose like do you help
It'll
or
take
hinder or maybe there's
it'll take
different
some finagling, but
there's some
that'd be a fun
different
thing to figure
junctures
out.
right like at one juncture you can choose like something to help them like what here's three different flavors or four different flavors of help they get in this juncture it's like oh hindrance time like here's five flavors of hindrance and maybe there's some that they get to vote is it a helpful thing or I don't know it could be
Did
really
it's kind of lets us revive one of the shows that we wanted to do that we had to cut
yeah
until after the pandemic, actually.
now the counter uh here's even crazier like,
Oh no.
if we don't constrain it to a bill of the month thing, we could do something crazy like kind of like that game that Tyler ran where it was going from terrain tray to terrain tray. Like
Yeah.
I could queue up 12 different environments or something and they have to
Have them
keep going
vote on like what happens when
have
they
the
go through the
viewers
door.
or no which where are they going next? Right? Have the viewers
Okay.
decide like where are we gonna dump them next, and just I have a bunch of different things queued up, and we can just keep dropping them into like crazy, bits, and then we could have fun. Cause if we do a little prep, I can have different things prepped. I have some different batches of monsters prep, have some different terrain things prepped, and some people get to vote like what's the next, where are they going next, where are we drop them in, and boom, 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 and they're like just make it some community nonsense where they're just like everybody in the chat is getting to decide the fate of these their friends.
And we could let people spend points to like name an NPC that's coming up or something as well.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
oh, there's a lot of cool stuff we could do. There's a lot of cool stuff we could do with community games like that.
Hey, great news! I found my dagger.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. All right, burrows.
Kind of a choose their own adventure.
Yeah. Decide your.
But you know, the people who are having the adventure aren't the ones choosing it. But
Yeah. Yeah.
decide their fate.
No, decide their doom.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could choose your doom. Something like that. Decide their doom works pretty well.
Well, that was what we did. The decide your doom ages ago. It was like a social thing. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
I got my burrows. Oh man, I'm excited for this. All right, let's get crazy.
Decide their fate. I played in a game on Fabled 42 where the DM's catchphrase whenever you got the final blow in combat was decide their fate.
Decide their fate. So you could do.
I think decide their doom is a very fitting thing since doom is just part of our branding.
No. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be thinking about that.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This would be a fun thing to pull off. I've got to show you the stuff that I've been doing on like my. I've been messing around with like what you can do with like the channel points and stuff on my channel to like try and figure out like what we could do.
Yeah.
Uh, I yeah, this could be really fun. So
Well, that's the purpose,
let's
right? The point is to try and make it fun and interactive. Like have a celebration of this awesome community and camaraderie, and also just like help decide how to like torment their friends with. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
it's very exciting. Yeah. So speaking of speaking of making like these adventures and these builds with themes and narratives and everything, let's talk about like the nature of encounters today.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people kind of
Yeah,
discussing.
what's the nature of the discussion on the internet? What are the sides? What are the stakes?
So it's something that's come up every now and then, but it started up again today. There was a discussion around the encounter system that like we used to do, and still kind of do, and the pros and cons of it. Because it is one of those things where like there's definite bonuses to it, and it's something in the Wildlands postmortem that was one of the things
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing was one of the things where it's like I liked that the pieces were easier to get, but I kind of missed something that was fairly repeated was I kind of miss having them built like encounters where there was a narrative to carry you through. It made it like it was fun to have like those overarching narratives. It was fun to have essentially a module, I guess.
Well,
Kind of there for you.
and that's sort of the big question. Okay, so wait, sorry, keep going. I have so much to say on this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's the real thing. Is there a lot of it was a discussion around is it possible to keep the positives from the encounter system, which is the how exciting like the narratives can be, giving people ideas on how to use their stuff.
Yep.
While not having the negatives of the encounter system, which is awkward piece counts, making some chase pieces, things not necessarily being organized in a way. Encounters aren't usually as store friendly as they are Kickstarter friendly.
Dude, we can't restock any of the Caverns Deep encounters, like, and it's just heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that's the thing. Is it was a discussion around like how do you keep the good stuff while removing or improving on the bad stuff about encounters, basically.
And the bad stuff was chase pieces.
The bad stuff was creating awkward piece counts and some pieces that are difficult to get a hold of without buying like a huge encounter that you might not necessarily want.
Yep.
Um,
Like the
and
like
and then store restocking, like the fact that there's all this stuff that people want. Like there's so many people in chat who talk about how badly they want to be able to get Underdoom like really easily.
no.
But the likelihood of us being able to restock a bunch of Underdoom encounters and have it do well, it doesn't seem very good.
Well, and the Underdoom is like a classic example of awkward piece counts, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That encounter has just absolutely atrocious. The composition is just a train wreck. Not one of my finer compositions.
And Verntex is saying maybe encounters are Kickstarter only. Here's like the issue with that. When we do the Kickstarter run, we make these pieces. The factory makes their molds based on what the most efficient way to produce the pieces, like the amount of pieces that they need, is. So if we do it based on those encounters, we're going to have molds that are built to fulfill and satisfy those encounters, which might not necessarily be the right mold layouts for restocking the store efficiently.
Well, and conceptually, we could theoretically, if we were really clever, we could figure out what the store versions would be and give that to them and have this crazy matrix and but it's like as it is, it's hard. They can barely fulfill our Kickstarter orders, much less a bunch of variant things on top of it and whatever. So, but let's back up to the bigger picture thing. Is so starting at the get go. My question is to you, the viewers: do you guys value the narrative elements, right? Do people actually care about that? Because we weren't sure, we don't know from our end if it means anything to people, and it's an enormous amount of work, right? On our end, it's a lot of work to build a whole module around stuff. And maybe it's, so maybe we don't need to go that crazy and don't need to do a full-on module and can just do general narrative, which is what we did in Wildlands for the bigger, for the mega builds. But so the first question is, do people actually care? Like, and it sounds like that was sort of the genesis of some of this discussion, was that people did.
Yeah, so some people it matters to, and that's the thing is that we're still seeing a variety of answers here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it to a poll instead to try and get like a bit of a more like objective thing to it.
Yeah.
I'll run that poll for 3 minutes, so that should be starting up now. But it looks like it's a, because that's the thing is we've heard it, because people also come to our pieces for multiple reasons, right? So like Wargaming Recon is saying he doesn't really care about it. He's primarily a wargamer.
Yeah.
So the narrative isn't really apply to what he's going to be doing with her stuff.
His Kickstarter just launched today, I believe. I think. I don't know. I was in the for his next season of his podcast, which is the longest running wargame podcast, I think, on the internet or something. I can tell you, but I was literally just shooting. I was shooting Bill of the Month all day. Hopped in the car and ran back here to do this. So I haven't actually, and I don't have my laptop, so I've been basically without the internet most of the day. But I believe he launched today.
Quick question about the ice caverns: are the pools blue or green?
Blue green.
Blue green. They're a bit of a blue or green than regular caverns, right?
Yeah, they're more of a teal. Where did I put my accessory? There. Here I have. Man, I was just building with them all day today. Where the heck did I put those? Please stand by.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, the Kickstarter's out. There it is. Do encounters like you do build of the month. Some people care about the narrative. Maybe just show how to build them out of the store sets. So here's the thing. I think where encounters are really helpful, that is a perspective we're not likely to get in the chat right now just because of the nature of what this is I think encounters are very helpful for introducing people who are new to the stuff.
Yes.
Because one of the biggest problems that we face constantly is how do you introduce somebody to these sets and get them to understand it without overwhelming them, because we've got a lot of product out there and it's fairly complicated and the price point isn't the lowest. So how do you show somebody the appeal as quickly as possible? And encounters, with the narrative and everything attached, it kind of shows them this is what you can be doing with this stuff if you get it. It kind of shows them like the actual use case for it, more than just kind of random building.
It's showing people like it's showing people, hey, here's a can they see those caverns?
They can, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the ice caverns. Yeah.
So the big benefit to me for for encounters is education, right? It very quickly shows you, hey, this is the thing you could build with this specific collection of pieces. Like, it gives you a sense of the scale. I mean, that's the sort of thing everybody was asking us with Wildlands, like, how much does this cover? How much does that, like it shows you this is the sort of thing you could do. And it also shows you this is the kind of story you could potentially do with this. It's basically what we're doing with Build of the Month, of saying like, hey, if you take these 4 sets, here's a thing you could build, and here's a story that you could do with it. And it's making it very clear for people, particularly new people, hey, this gives you an idea of what you could expect with this stuff. So I think that's really helpful, particularly for new people, or new people that are just sort of glancing at the Kickstarter. Like, seeing a bucket of pieces doesn't help them as much as seeing a thing that you can look at and go, oh yeah, that's a hell wasp nest. Cool. Just what I needed.
Okay, here's an interesting perspective. Gilded Poison says they just joined with Wildlands, and
Wow.
Seeing the store with a lot of encounters was overwhelming more than helpful initially. But watching Build of the Month was accomplishing that scale and concept to help them understand.
Because it was a digestible amount of stuff. Like, it was just...
Yeah, it's one thing to focus on as opposed to, especially when you get into like Caverns Deep, where it's like what 15 encounters.
So was Dungeon and Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would they? So did they find Wildlands overwhelming?
Yeah. What was your so okay? So for the people who just joined us with Wildlands, um, was it initially overwhelming or imposing? And if so, what about it was initially overwhelming or imposing? And what was helpful for you to kind of get over that? Because I think that's the main thing is that like the biggest thing we have to overcome is losing people before they understand it.
Yep.
Like if they can't understand us before they give up and move on, then we've lost that potential customer.
And it's hard, right? People like you don't have a lot of time with the internet. Like you got like, if you don't
Yeah.
catch people, like they're gone.
Let's see. Also agree. When I started Dwarven Forge, all the encounters were overwhelming. There are different types of DMs out there. Some like to free flow everything.
Yep.
Some like to run verbatim from a module. That's also completely true. There's some people like I'm the kind of person who does not like running pre-written content. But I know people who are like, yeah, I've run this. I've run this module like 15 times for different groups, and I could never personally do that. So it's I don't know. It's the question is how do you satisfy everybody?
You can't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
impossible. But
The poll came in about 25% said they do like and care about the narrative. 75% didn't.
don't. Yeah. How many people answered?
Not a huge amount. It was, let's see, 23 votes.
Yeah, so it's not a very big
amount.
sample size, but it is like
Yeah.
that. My general suspicion is that it's something like roughly like that, where there's a bunch of people, enough people don't care that it's better off using our time just making more pieces or features or something, somehow like focusing our time on the things that people do care about, and then finding a way. I mean, I guess that's a question. What was unsatisfying about the pledges in Wildlands? Right?
I'm actually surprised here. A couple people have said that seeing the add-ons is actually what helped them understand things better, which is interesting because I was worried that like having all those add-ons would be overwhelming.
Well, and this is
Um,
also one of those problems in general, is that like different people learn things in different ways. So like the thing that works great for one person might not work for the next person, and the third person might need something that's completely different altogether. So yeah, it's hard.
I think too that build of the month shows what you can do with the sets. Not that the only way to get the set is to buy the encounter, especially because with the last build of the month you included a sample build as well, or an alternate build as well. So it kind of showed like you're not buying one thing. You're
Well,
buying
it was
two or
part of
three different
it was
months.
a two part encounter. You swap it over halfway
Yeah,
through, so it was like
a bit, just a lot of new terms and lots of things to back. But I
yeah.
watched a bunch of Twitch streams and that helped. Yeah, I think it's the thing is I think Twitch has been a couple people have said that Twitch has been helpful for getting through like the information and like being able to have somebody there to like explain the stuff that's confusing you like
Does Twitch
in
work?
real time.
Does
It's
it
helpful.
work better than YouTube? Because we do a
Um,
ton of those YouTube videos too.
I think it's so there was somebody earlier who said that the hands-on videos helped a lot. I think it's two different things, right? Because here we get to respond exactly to very specific things. Um, but YouTube is also more accessible. It's less of a time commitment. It doesn't require somebody being live.
You can fast
Um,
forward.
yeah. It also lets us do like editing and show things like in more detail than we can necessarily do on stream.
Better
So
angles.
I think
Yeah.
they cover different things.
So basically, just do
Um,
everything.
just do it all. Just do it
Yeah.
all.
Well,
Well, hopefully, like what we can get out of what we can glean from this is how do we cover all these bases more efficiently?
yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
what?
Like how do we do less work but hit more bases?
Jeez, man, we could. You could make $1 billion if you could figure that out, Chris. We're like,
We've had a couple things kind of
yeah. Well,
come up with
I
that.
think but fundamentally, what I'm endeavoring, the what I'd like to do with the next Kickstarter, and obviously our intentions and what we end up actually executing always tend to diverge, but
we're very far off from
Yeah,
actually launching
but
this thing.
but conceptually, I would love to not have, not have a lot of chase pieces buried, so people can get, hopefully people can get the stuff that the pieces that they're excited about. Like one of the things I really want to do is let people. It's the stuff is expensive, so as much as we can give people cherry pickability and really specific choice, the better. So hopefully we can give people a lot of choice, while still having like example builds that make sense, a la encounters, um, with some taste of narrative flavor, but not going overboard. Not doing. I don't think we're ever going to be able to do another 400-page module. Like that is just. It's like.
We were still working on that, right?
We haven't. Yeah, we haven't formatted the second part of Caverns Deep,
It's a
and
huge undertaking when we did not really have much bandwidth in the first place.
yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
And it's it's too bad because I love I just absolutely love that, and like being able to give people like, hey, here's just a massive piece of content that you can do with your stuff is great. But once again, it's a small audience. Like you need to have a lot of terrain to cover all the stuff, and it's so it's not it's certainly not it's not for every single backer, and yeah, so I don't think that's feasible again. But I think we have some ideas on how we can, or I know we have some ideas on how we can kind of tackle, get kind of the best of that without devoting a bazillion hours to making a full massive 400-page module, and keeping some of the flavor and enough of the education to make a thing. But mostly like just really not. I don't want to bury too much in the I don't want to bury a lot of chase pieces, and I don't want
think
to.
everybody can agree with
Yeah.
that. Like one of the biggest positives we heard from people that was like very consistent was that they were happy that it wasn't ridiculously expensive to get any one piece
Yeah.
in Wildlands.
Well, and people are still complaining. Like we're even though it's probably the easiest it's ever been to get pieces, and people were still.
In an ideal world, we could do it all a la carte, but it's just not feasible.
Well, it's as it is. We overloaded the factory. Like they are absolutely pissed at the number of SKUs. When it all is said and done, like it ended up being it's too tricky. Like they're, oh man, I forgot.
You
should have told me this.
Want us to have more SKUs.
My camera, the camera wasn't.
Pushed it too far.
The camera wasn't zoomed in. I totally was
I
just
thought that was
building
on
off camera.
purpose.
No, I was like, I forgot that. Yeah.
Wildlands was my first Kickstarter. It came together for me when the Heart of the Wild was introduced. I would like to see more builds. It was great seeing how to use them with other pieces. Yeah, I wish we'd done the sample builds earlier.
Yep.
Or like even launched with them would have been great. There's been a couple people saying that being able to see all the pieces sooner would have been helpful. Let's see.
Well, we're always gonna have some fun reveals, like.
Yeah, but I think maybe more clearly communicating what is left so that they at least know.
But we don't always know what's left.
I don't know.
I mean, we didn't know
fair.
there was a Myrmidon like waiting at the end of the rainbow. Like there's.
That's fair.
Like,
I think when it comes to at least like the basic building blocks.
Yeah, we try and reveal all the building blocks pretty early on, and then just sort of throw some more flavor in there. But it all depends, like. If the Kickstarter goes to 1 million, it's a very different ballgame than if it goes to 4 million. Like the amount of pieces and the stuff we can unlock it's a whole different animal.
At the end of the build of the month, Nate has a few pieces left, and that's okay. Until Nate is okay having a few pieces extra after an encounter is done, encounter will never be store friendly, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And we did that with.
That's a good way to put it.
We did that with like the mega builds. And I think even some of the other ones, right? Threw some pieces in there to round out the offering, sort of level out the piece counts in a good way. I think it worked, right? Like we got some more fiddly bits in there and some stuff like. I think I think we gave those like, just the kind of stuff they needed to really come into their own.
I saw Dungeon of Doom on the tail end, and the encounters were too confusing and overwhelming. Cavern's Deep was my first time as a backer, and it was also too overwhelming and confusing. I bought less with Cavern's Deep because of it than I would have otherwise.
How would
60-second videos have been great. I think that's a good.
Yeah,
Yeah, 60-second videos have been awesome.
yeah, that was one of our breakthroughs. How could we have made Caverns Deep less confusing, or Dungeon of Doom less confusing? There's just 15 encounters is a lot.
It seems like people have been saying is that when they're able to see like the add-on packs and kind of like, what are the small bits that I can get, like I guess access to that information is more helpful. Like for me, I was worried that like seeing a bunch of add-on packs would be the confusing part, but I guess that's actually the thing that's helpful, because maybe because that's what they're making their pledge out of, basically. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's hard to look from the perspective of somebody who doesn't spend months with this stuff ahead of time.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? We get desensitized to it because we've been in it so long, and then it's like someone's coming in fresh and it's like, what is this? And even worse, the poor soul that shows up on the last day of the Kickstarter after we've been like, we're just unveiling new stuff every day, boom, 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 and they get to there and they're like, wait, what? There's a lot.
I think that's the main thing. For me, seeing the building of the build of the month is much better than just seeing a produced encounter. I'd agree that just seeing a fully produced big thing is a lot, especially a whole store full. When I first joined up, I was even confused about castles versus cities versus dungeons. I had encounters in mind for my campaign, but just figuring out how to get pieces I could use to bring what I had in my mind to life took a while. Which hopefully the store revamp's going to help with that. Like I like that we broke. I like that we made like a wilderness category in the store now, like to just kind of collect all the wilderness stuff. I think that's better than having it divided into the.
Oh, of course. I mean, all this, like, yeah, for the longest time, the mountains were hidden inside the castle category. Like, how would you ever know? Like, I don't know how anybody actually managed to buy anything that we've been selling with our current website. Like,
the store was not shown the love it should have been shown for a long time. We got more information on Twitch that was often harder to find afterwards. Yeah, that's I think that's the thing is, I think what's helpful about it, and this is what's been nice about both Twitch and the Discord, is it allows us to answer these questions like immediately, and it lets us get very specific as opposed to something that we have to take more time to prepare and release, so we can be a bit faster and more specific about specific concerns.
The problem is it doesn't always get disseminated out. Like, we'll answer a thing on Twitch, but if you weren't watching it, you don't get the info necessarily.
What I like about it though is we start, especially like what really helped with Wildlands was, it let us inform people on pretty much everything fairly quickly as questions came up, and then those people were able to go into the Kickstarter comments or into Discord and all that, and like we didn't have to be the ones answering the questions every time anymore.
Yep, we empower the army to go out and do the.
Yeah, I think the ones that sold me was watching the YouTube video with the Kobold Caverns. So Build of the Month. Seeing a lot of love for Build of the Month in general.
Well, good, because I do love it too.
It's I think it's one of the more fun things we do. If everyone is happy, you're no longer in business. That's a good point. The Myrmidon was always waiting. Yeah, you just didn't know.
Yeah.
Can I ask when the Wildlands will start to ship? We're shooting for this summer.
We're not going to know until after Chinese New Year when they get back.
It depends on how on schedule everything stays.
Yeah, it's these next 2 months are kind of crucial.
The daily unlocks did help keep engaged, even when what was revealed wasn't something I was super interested in.
No, that's literally the point. Yeah. I'm glad it's working.
Next time, do not close it near Christmas. Oops.
Close what? The pledge manager? Oh, it was, yeah. That we can't control. Like, yeah. I hear you. We're that one is there's a lot of factors on that, right? Like, we have to get the order to the factory.
Yeah.
And
that's really the main thing is with how long the factory's closed for Chinese New Year. Like,
Oh, it's
It makes the
brutal.
timing of a lot of this stuff very delicate.
All of it's delicate, like regardless of
Yeah.
New Year's and like it's all just it's like a little house of cards.
Having 10 encounters makes people feel like they don't have something complete unless they have them all, maybe.
Yeah,
That's fair. Because then the problem is like I know a lot of people have said like they were waiting to like buy the encounters in store and stuff, but if they're not something that we can easily
not gonna be in the
restock,
store.
then
Yeah,
they're never gonna get to do that.
these
Yeah.
are facts.
Seeing add-on packs with example builds is the ideal.
Yep.
Maybe that is the thing. Maybe it's
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like
no.
well, I mean,
Add-on packs feel like an objective view on what the individual pieces are. Okay. I think I get that because they're usually broken down into like
yep.
each add-on pack generally has a purpose.
Yes.
And then so you take all these things with these specific purposes and you put them together and here's the cool stuff you get to make with them.
The intention too was initially to have generic packs that then have a bunch of generic packs that you could then put together to make a bunch of these things, and it just ended up being, I don't know, maybe it was the nature of all these organic pieces. It was like too hard. I was trying to engineer encounters out of these generic packs and it was, or pledges out of these generic packs, and it was a puzzle that wasn't working as the way I was hoping it would.
If
But
someone joins the Kickstarter in the last 2 days, they're going to be reading a novel.
yeah,
That's also
no, it's a brutal. It's those last couple, and then also the clock is ticking, so you're like, I gotta make a decision. What's going on? It's all It's yeah.
Yeah, and with how.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Are you still there? That was. I don't know how to.
I just wish stretch goals were based off of. Oh, what's up?
I'm on my wife's laptop, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on over here. It's.
I cannot wait for your laptop to get fixed.
You and me both. I'm missing it horribly. Man, I'm so excited for this thing. This is gonna be wild.
I just wish stretch goals were based off of how much was spent instead of by specific packs.
Yeah, that would be nice if we could pull that off. It's really, really tricky, but
It's a whole organizational thing.
it's just a nightmare on a lot of levels. But yes, fundamentally, I agree with the concept.
The way Wildlands was organized made a lot more sense to me. Why is there not a search bar on the main homepage of Dwarven Forge? Is there not? Oh, I guess you have to go into the shop to get to the search bar.
There is our crazy search filters, whatnot. We just put it out to testing to the larger team today, and it should conceptually be going. I don't know. It should be going live mid-February.
The site/shop revamp thing.
The filters search, like full site search, crazy filters, categories, like all the shop functionality that anyone could ever dream of.
What's helpful is looking at the web store for 40 minutes before bed a couple times a week. You end up seeing everything in the store 10 times before pulling the trigger.
Yeah, makes sense.
Having the grid with sizes in the field guide for Wildlands really helped me picture things. By the way, it was super helpful.
Yahoo! Yeah, that's the sort of stuff.
The field guide was a big thing.
Like we need, that's the kind of feedback that's really helpful, of telling us the things that we're giving you that help you, so we can keep, we make sure to keep doing it. Because we have a lot of efforts in a lot of different directions, and you don't know what's actually working for folks.
The starter/wargamer starter packs made it obvious that there was stuff you could use on its own, even if you have no Dwarven Forge. Yeah, which is another thing we really need to communicate. We've been trying to get better about that.
About what you can use?
Is there any plan to eventually get a retail Dwarven Forge product in boxes in local gaming stores nationwide?
No. It's
such a massive undertaking.
Well, and there's a whole bunch of problems, and that you can't. We can't keep enough stock to keep our web stores stocked, much less a whole bunch of brick and mortar stores. Much less you can't control the price on things. And you can't control any of it, how it's displayed and how it's whatever. I don't know. Like there's a whole bunch of things, but mostly it's just a stock issue. Like we just can't. Um, we just can't. Well, that's our thing. It's like we don't really. We can't offer people like when so the price thing is that like we can't offer stores a great deal. Like we don't operate on the margins that like dice companies operate on or something where like we don't have we can't offer people like I don't know what wholesale is. It's like 50% or 40% or something. It's something crazy. Like we wouldn't make any money on any of these sets. Like we would be you know and we can't stock enough as it is, and B, we wouldn't be making any money on these sets. Like we would absolutely lose all of our everything. So it just doesn't. I don't know. I don't see a model unless our volume was just insane, right? Unless we added a couple of zeros, the order of magnitude
We would
went
have
up.
to we would have to massively grow as a company. We'd
Yeah,
have to have
yeah.
a much larger install base.
Well, it would be. I would be thrilled for it, but I don't think so. Although we're pushing to get to build out our Amazon presence a little more, which
I saw
helps.
that they were talking about that
Well,
today.
because that also just once again that just sort of basically goes right back into our sort of our warehouse database. Like it's easy, it's much easier for us, and it's direct. But I wish we could I wish our margins were such that we could offer a great wholesale price to cool brick and mortar stores, and they could make some money on it too, and we could think like, but it's just not currently not a reality with our. We need just our production volume needs to add a zero or two to everything, and then it opens up a bunch of other possibilities for us.
Let's see.
Where's this thing
Um,
gonna go?
when is the Dwarven Forge Minis Kickstarter happening?
Well, I don't know. It's same time as the sci-fi Kickstarter. I don't know. We only have so much bandwidth, um, and there's a lot of things we would like to do, and yeah, we have 1,000 grand plans, and not enough people to execute all of them. Well, I mean, what would you? Because that was the other. What would you guys rather see first, a minis Kickstarter or a sci-fi Kickstarter? Or because I don't know. I kind of want to just if we're gonna do sci-fi, I kind of want to make it a big. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do one set and go to web store. But once again, it's bandwidth. You know,
That's the constant
we need
discussion,
this.
right?
We need the sculptors to be working on the next Kickstarter. Like taking the time to sculpt 20 sci-fi sets. I don't know how we're gonna work it in. We're gonna do it, but I don't know where it's gonna fit just yet right now. We'll get there though. But yeah, minis like where would people rank? Put up a poll. Where would people put rank a minis project before a sci-fi project or vice versa? Um,
All right. Um. Oh wow, I cannot spell right now. There we go. All right, that poll is going.
tonight's like the poll night.
Let's see.
We're
Yeah, basically. We're trying to be more engaged. Man, I would love for I would love for us to blow Wildlands out of the water this time. Like
you know it'll be
if we just
it's gonna be tough. There's a lot of competition in cities. Like it's a I don't know. We shall see. There was not a lot of competition in modular wilderness terrain.
yeah. There's not
As
a lot of competition in, or yeah, there's a lot of other people doing cities, but I think we're gonna do it in ways that I think we're gonna do it in ways that other people can't, and I think it's gonna be
facts,
worth
facts.
it. Yeah, like it's I'm very excited by the stuff that the design team has been coming up with.
Yeah, I think we have. We'll see. We're just gonna keep chipping away at the iceberg, as they say, right?
Yeah,
People say that. They, uh, yeah, I would love to do minis Kickstarter too, especially
I
because
mean our minis have gotten so much better recently.
there's not a lot of pre-painted minis on the market, right? There's WizKids. Who else is? Are there other mass market or large scale? Like, who else? Who else is making pre-painted minis? I guess Hero Forge color printed.
Yeah, Hero
Is a
Force
good.
color printed, and also it being well, I mean, would it be Dwarvenite or would it be doing
No, Dwarvenite.
uh
Dwarvenite.
resin or metal?
Dwarvenite. Dwarvenite.
Dwarvenite.
Yeah.
How about just the mini Nate figure? We just kickstart
Yeah.
that one mini, just the Bean Slayer.
I would enjoy that.
Prefer to print and paint my own minis. I guess that's the thing is you're talking about. So minis is definitely a much more served market already, but it's also a much larger market because a lot of people who don't use terrain will still use minis on their mat,
What?
and a lot of hobbyists will paint minis that aren't actually playing. And
Well, my
I don't know.
theory is we would do. I feel like it would be NPCs. Yeah, you want to paint your the cool boss hyena or the arc villain mind flare or that maybe that cool red dragon or those like the cool NPCs. But like, do you really want to paint the 18 skeletons or the army squad of hobgoblins, or the
A lot of people just leave them unpainted.
yeah, right? Like
For mobs, like I know I got like a bunch of zombies and skeletons, and we just left them unpainted. We are like, yeah, I mean the skeletons are already cast in white, the zombies are cast in green, like whatever.
yeah.
Like for those ones, we didn't care as much.
But
I'll
if you
probably paint them eventually, but
yeah, but eventually is never. Like, I don't know, you stack of. I have lead miniatures from the late '80s that I still haven't painted. Like, I'm still buying stupid miniatures. What's wrong with me? But like, so if you could offer people a bunch of stuff, standards that you would use on a regular basis, or yeah, you'd want in a large volume, and assume that people want to paint the cool, the cool bosses and stuff. Obviously, we'd have some of those too, and we could have some cool stuff like Crimson Claw Wyvern type stuff and whatnot. But
Vertex brings up a good point. He says, I don't think you guys will stand out by doing low importance minis that cost more than the WizKids version.
maybe,
This is the thing. Even if ours are better, if you're talking about mobs where people don't really like, they aren't really attached to them, but they need them to represent like waves of enemies. Like you're going for the cheap thing there, yeah. Like
yeah.
do you know if Dwarven Forge is coming to Amazon.Canada?
Oh, whoa! Look at that. Whoops! How did I do that? I just blew out the overhead cam and it was awesome.
Oh, it must be focus. It must be getting
Yeah,
its
it
white
did
balance off of
some.
or it must be getting its auto exposure off of the.
For a
center
moment,
white
it
panel.
it did, and it was awesome.
Thankful for the Lizard Folk set from Dwarven Forge. Some love for the Lizard Folk, apparently.
Yeah, right. Those lizard folk, the rat folk. I feel like those are. It's fun to just have a big bunch of sort of squishies that you can that are already painted or ready to go that you can roll out.
How well did minis do in Wildlands?
That's a good question. I think medium. I don't think it wasn't.
Anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't like they weren't like crazy.
They weren't the worst. They weren't the worst selling stuff.
Yeah, they didn't crack the top 10 and they didn't crack the bottom 50. So I think they were, solid middle middle run. And part of the problem is they were all generally expensive, right? They were all kind of larger showpiece minis. It wasn't. I don't think any of them were. We didn't have right the smallest. Well, I guess we had the Wailuli. Actually, the Wailuli sold well. Funny enough, they were the smallest. That's where Were
I think also
Tigers.
because they were, well, they were still unique and they weren't overly expensive. So I
Yep.
feel like the Wailuli are also something that isn't really represented by other stuff. Because I know there's some people who said, "Oh, well, I've already got a lot of dragons. I don't really need more dragons," even though like our dragon was very good.
Who said that?
Um,
Everybody needs more dragons.
somebody posted a picture of his living room where he had like two like desks where he literally had like at least 2 dozen dragons, like all like laid up there. He's like, I don't really need any more dragons. It's like, yeah, I believe you.
Okay,
I completely get that.
fair.
Um, the wyvern's very cool. I think the Wailuli also really lend themselves to buying multiples.
Yep.
Is another thing. Like that's something that you buy. You can get multiple of them and go like, this is an encounter where you can have like 6 Wailuli come in.
Yep.
Whereas the wyvern and the dragon and the basilisk are all probably a standalone boss monster.
Yep.
Um,
Although I'd originally concepted the darn it. I originally concepted the wyvern to be the Crimson Claw wyvern was going to be if a regular wyvern is a Tyrannosaurus, the Crimson Claw wyvern was going to be a Velociraptor. So it was going to be smaller, faster, smarter, deadlier, and
it's the first member of the DK crew.
DK.
It's a reference you're not going to get. It's okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is that? Yeah.
You lost me. Yeah, you're fired. so,
Fired for a Donkey Kong 64 reference. Put that on my resume.
so the I lost what you so it was supposed to be like this super sort of fast, small, deadly, like 120 flying speed or something absurd, like just sort of zipping, and as we got through design and the concept art was coming out so cool, then the sculpture, everything, it just ended up becoming this big full size wyvern, because it was just so cool. But originally it was supposed to be like,
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Is they're like, isn't it way bigger than a normal wyvern? It's not like bigger than a normal wyvern, but it's sizable.
It's on a large size base, but it is like it's bigger than the Nolzur's Marvelous one, like physical. Although that one has his big wings, but yeah, it's big.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the wingspan.
Yeah, it's big. But it was originally I was going to be like the size of a horse or something. Like it was going to be 30 to 40 millimeters long. 6 O'Clock
Six is wondering. He's not here. Apparently, he's in the Discord, but he's not able to check in on the stream right now.
Did you tell me one?
He heard he missed the photo of the moonlit arch. He's wondering if he can post it.
No.
You want to just take a screen? I guess screenshot that part.
We're gonna send out an update early next week, and then I'll have all the photos.
And then is that gonna announce the?
Yeah.
Is that gonna be? We'll say like when we're opening and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
We'll put all the good stuff up.
Man. Cool. So I'll do next week. When will we see the stat blocks for the things from Wildlands? We just started work on that stuff. We've been having meetings about like the production schedule for that stuff. So the goal is to have that stuff come out when we start fulfillment, basically.
What stuff come out? Oh,
the stat blocks and stuff.
Yeah, written content, baby.
I'm actually taking I'm gonna be coordinating a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited that we got the ball rolling on it now.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Well, you know what I think? I'm excited. I think that I'm hoping that we're gonna hit the sweet spot of useful content that doesn't take 1,000 person hours.
Yes.
People, right? Like.
Hopefully, it can only take one man's hours. And then
yeah. Yeah, but I think we're gonna be in the right place of delivering people stuff that they can use, but not not being. It's not a
We
400
just
page
man,
module.
we got so ambitious with Dungeon of Doom and Caverns Deep.
I'm still tired
Um,
thinking about it. Like it's really
a 400-page module, like taking on like a bigger project than Wizards usually takes on. And you're
yeah
like, yeah, we'll just do that on top of like the on top of also doing these Kickstarters and Plaguestone at the same time, and also Hellscape.
yeah we're idiots.
Like it was really nuts. Is there gonna be a book or a PDF? We'll definitely be doing a
PDF.
PDF. Discuss. We have. We're always talking about potentially trying to find a way to do print versions of the modules and stuff, but like it's a lot.
We might,
Um,
there's some print and demand options that some
yeah,
people have kicked out and stuff. Like there's some potential for us, but I don't know. We'll have to see what works. But it would be I would love to have a cool hardcover version of the trilogy. But
yeah. People are wondering if we can show the Moonlit Arch again for the people that missed
yes,
it. All right, so here's another look at it. Yeah. So the stat blocks and uh, the modules and war game scenarios and stuff. Goal is to have those done at the same time that we start fulfilling the Kickstarter over the summer. Obviously, that's going to come down to you know production schedules and all that in both cases, but that's the goal.
ideally
DM's Guild Slash.
we'll get it to you by the time the physical stuff ships.
Yeah,
The digital stuff will ship.
yeah. We want it to be ready for you when it's time to use it.
Yeah.
DM's Guild for pay on demand. We talked about that. We've explored it. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Or
Who knows?
drive through
it's a thing that we
RPG
get,
or yeah.
it's a thing that gets asked about fairly often. As long as it isn't going to take up too much of our time. Who knows?
Man, it's just a time thing. If we just had the time stop spell, something
Well,
we could.
let's get the store. Let's get the store running like crazy this year, and run a bigger Kickstarter than we've ever run. Let's get 6 million. Let's get 6 million in space.
It still doesn't generate actually more time. Just throwing that out there.
But it generates the funds to hire more people with time.
Fact. Well played. Well played. By that.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, we've definitely explored it. If we did it, it would have to be print on demand, basically. I can't imagine us doing it any other way.
No, Jay would lose his mind.
Yeah. You guys just need a big whale investor to get your runs up to competitive levels. Yeah, we just need somebody to to give us like
Yeah, like Hasbro. They could be our whale investor.
does Hasbro know we're doing it? Man, what if we actually got bought out by Hasbro or something?
That'd be funny.
That'd be wild.
I don't think we'd like. I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. Like we're not.
Oh, it absolutely doesn't.
No. I don't. Plus, like, here's the thing. It wouldn't like. I'm not going like. I'm not working for somebody else, right? So they're like, so either they just buy out the name and we all take a big check and get the heck out of there. But then then there's no value. What do they want?
They have to do like a Disney Pixar like situation where it's like, well, we're gonna fund you. You just make the stuff that you want to make.
Yeah.
And we'll fund it and we'll take like a good profit off it, but like we don't really mess with your creative process, basically.
Yeah. If they came to the table with that would be interesting. That would.
There's no way it would. But
no.
Just step in a pocket dimension where time flows at a different rate. Yeah,
I'm in.
A hyperbolic time chamber.
I'm in.
Man, the hyperbolic time chamber was one of the coolest concepts to me as a kid.
Oh, I thought as an adult.
There are other versions of time travel and stuff that I know now. Oh, I guess we've left the arches up this entire time.
Oh.
Yeah, we can change that back. I just realized. I pay so much money for a hyperbolic time chamber. Yeah, especially made it a Dwarvenite. Okay, Siryu, I gotta say this. Your name reminds me of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's not spelled the same way, but when I played Yu-Gi-Oh, like my favorite card was this dragon card called Say Are You. And it's not by any means one of the best cards at its cost or anything, but for some reason it just always wound up being the card that showed up right when I needed it. And so I like developed this attachment to like a fairly mediocre, I think 6-star, it might have been 7-star card. This is like 15 years ago, at least.
Let me
But
just put this here for fun.
every time I see your name, I think about that. So glad I went with both resin pieces during the Kickstarter. This is really beautiful. Well, hey, you can get yourself a second one in a couple weeks if you want.
Facts. These are facts. I'm throwing a bunch
Made a
of.
pic of Nate's build. I have to mimic this. It's very possible you'll see this build on another stream.
Yeah, we'll probably finish it up next week, and I always post when we do like build and chills. I put the next day I post up pics on Twitter, and I'll do when I'm done running the one we did last week. I will do a little video walkthrough of it too and put that up on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at NateTaylor.com. NateTaylor at Nate Taylor.
Not .com. Not
Oh,
.com.
right. What did I say?
You said at NateTaylor.com.
Well, there's that too. This is why I don't social. Yeah, but I have Nate Taylor. I also actually have NateTaylor.com. But I got Nate Taylor on Twitter because I have a buddy, Eric Van Skyhook, who's like a super early adopter on everything and like was always pushing me on the thing. And so I joined Twitter in like 2008 or something, and I never really put much up. But I got Nate Taylor first, much to the chagrin of some sports writer named Nate Taylor.
Do you think you can help me get Chris London? Because there's a lot of those
on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't really have any power at Twitter, but
yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna it's getting late, isn't it already?
Oh, it's already 9:12. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so I'm gonna put some eggs in here so we can see how this thing is gonna look on the.
When does the resin go live, and how long do we have to place our orders? Our goal is the first or second week of February.
Yes.
And how long are we having it open? Do you think, like a week or two?
A week or two.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all a moving target right now, but that's our goal, something like that.
You guys care more for your customers than a large company would. You guys make it right to us by finding the best way, not the easy way. Yeah, we certainly don't do the easy way, even when it would be very nice.
Yeah, and I think it's one of our fundamental flaws.
It's definitely led to some. It's led to us trying to do things that we simply did not have the time or the staff to do. We've taken on some very large projects.
We definitely really, really, really appreciate our supporters and do our damnedest to do right by them. And we can't always get it right. Like we're a very small company with limited resources. We do the best we can, but there's a lot of pride and a lot of integrity in the things we do. All right, so I'm gonna fire up this. I'm gonna turn this light off too. Hold on. Let's go for the full massive.
I think we give off the impression that we're a larger company than we are.
Oh yeah.
Through the stuff that we do. I saw somebody at one point I've seen a couple times people throw around how many employees they think there are, and it's always 40 or 50. Just a little high.
We're at I don't know. What are we? 18.
Yeah, I feel like we're 19? Still under 20. And that's covering graphics and web and yeah.
All right, you ready to fire up these eggs?
Yeah, let's
see
do
what
it.
Happens.
Fire up those eggs.
This is what Amy was reminding me of. That ready? Oh man, wait. And I haven't masked all this stuff. I threw a couple of things here on the side so there's not as much light leak. But ultimately, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some black construction paper on there, trace my things and just do some cutouts so it's like super clean. So it'll be just going ready.
Let's go.
How cool is that? I mean,
Wow.
I want to be there.
Wow.
And we could, I could do some gag where they like, when they're like, the players are doing something.
Man.
Yeah, that's yeah. And you know what? My group's not gonna be impressed. They're gonna be like,
Of course not.
no, they're like, who cares if it took you 3 weeks to build the thing and rigged up all this? They're like, nonsense. They're like, yeah, okay. What else you got? Is there anything to fight? What do we get?
Look at those eggs.
Free. Yeah. So I gotta clean up. I got a long way to go on this to make it actually work. But this is the idea. Right?
And this is going to be one of the 2 builds.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do. When I do it, I'll get all moody with the lighting too. So it's so they'll be in this crazy claustrophobic Earth Titan's heart. That's gonna be awesome.
Making them hungry for jelly bellies.
Yeah. Yeah. Clean up all
Man,
those
what a
light
cool
leaks
effect.
and things. Yeah. And then they have to get here, right? This is the end. Like they're gonna have to find their way through this. I think it's gonna be fun.
I cannot wait for us to do sci-fi.
Yeah.
You can use those eggs in sci-fi actually pretty easily.
Oh, for sure. How do I have them communicate? Do I just do some like sending nonsense that's like
Between the 2?
Yeah.
You could equip them with sending stones.
Well, sending stones you're gonna use once a day. Maybe just unlimited sending stones or something.
Yeah, just it's a really nice sending stone. Maybe if the person from the castle sends them there, it's like, look, these are the royal jewels. You know,
Yeah.
and you just say that just for the one guy that's not a kid who's gonna get it, and yeah, cause we have it in our game. We took extra time for our for one of our artificers to create a pair of sending stones at much greater cost that did not have limited uses.
Well, it's just a fun. It's a fun gag.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where it opens up the stuff that you can do. It's one of those things.
Right.
It becomes like a major inconvenience when communication becomes like the reason you can't do things.
Yeah. If I want to do this crazy multiple 2 builds concurrently on the thing, like at the end of the day, they don't. Right. Nobody's gonna care if we invent some, a walkie-talkie. I mean, literally, Hollywood did it, right? Like these, the nonsense that they use in the spy movies, where they just have like an invisible thing in their ear that they can speak and hear perfectly from, no matter where underwater and like they're,
I always love when they do this, where it's like, are you pushing a button in your ear or something, or like why do you have to do this? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things, because they do it in Metal Gear Solid too, and I always wondered. And I guess it runs off a nanomachine. So maybe it's a thing where like there's nanomachines like the tips of their fingers that like activate the communicator if they get close to the ear or something.
But then
I don't know.
How would they know? Like, because it's never timed out perfectly, and they're not like. Does that mean you can't hear it unless you're touching it, or does that to talk? You'd like touch your ear to talk, and like
possibly to send it. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's a thing where it's like it's one of those things that they made because visually it tells you, oh,
yes,
they're listening to something.
Yeah.
But like as an actual like tech thing. There's no reason
Doesn't
to do
make any
that.
sense.
Like, why would
No.
you actually do that in real life? It's just to signify to the audience what's going on.
And it helps the actor. It gives them a thing to do, and like rather than you just sort of standing and you just start talking, you're like just kind of looking into space, talking, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just kind of look cool when you do it too, right? 'Cause you're like, yeah.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's a pretty heroic pose.
The old 2 fingers in the ear. What?
I don't know. Maybe it's you've got like the arm up. It's kind of like giving a song. It's like a firing squad leader, like doing like that stuff.
I wasn't.
Amy says when you do this with the group, get some yellow jelly beans for the table to eat while they play.
Ha!
maybe every time they destroy
they can just show where they get them.
Gloop,
gloop, gloop, gloop.
Like, all right, hey, you got the jelly beans. Here you go.
Yeah, this is gonna be nuts. I'm
Or
so
are you
excited.
closing the other ear to help you focus on the sound in the one with the transmitter? That's interesting.
Oh,
So you're actually covering the ear
the
to block out
opposite
outside
ear.
noise.
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, this will
Well,
have
isn't the way that they do it like the what they say is that it's actually not making noise that can be picked up by anybody else. They're just doing vibrations on like your
your
earphones
jawbone or
basically.
something. Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just making it up, dude.
No, it's really important technology. I don't understand.
It's our next Kickstarter. We're gonna do yeah, actual secret spy transceivers, transcenders, transponders,
We should do some VR stuff for the next Kickstarter.
Oof. Or we could just make some terrain. We
Get
could.
one of these for
Whoa.
get one of these for everybody in the team. We'll test out some VR stuff.
That's the last we'll see of anybody. Like, we lost in the world. Well, that's we only covered one topic, didn't we? The encounters
It was a
versus
big topic. It's the encounter thing, yeah. And I still feel like we could still talk about it for a while.
yeah,
Because it's one of those things like it kind of gets to like the core of our offer during Kickstarters, which is one of the biggest parts of this company.
big challenge.
Like it's a major thing that affects every customer, and they all have different opinions about what should be done about it.
Nope.
It's a yeah.
And usually their opinions are right for them. You know, like it's each person's buying needs. I mean, we literally have people that spend $50, and we have people that spend, $20,000, $30,000.
It's one of the
So
things that we thought was interesting when we did that survey, right? Was how many people are getting the pieces just to make dioramas? How many people are getting it to because they enjoy building, but they don't really play with it that much?
how many people are
get
playing
these pieces for a lot of different
D&D?
reasons.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
it's interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's call it a night. We'll be. You guys have a hobby hang tomorrow night.
We do. We have a hobby hang, and Toby will be joining us again tomorrow.
Woo! What's is
That'll
he
be
painting? Is he sculpting in 3D? What's he doing?
He was painting last time, I believe. I'm not sure what his plan is for tomorrow, but last time he was on, he was painting.
Nice. Well, we see you guys for hobby hang that, and then Tuesday we'll be playing on the Dungeon Dudes channel, twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. Nina and I are gonna
if
try.
you haven't followed them yet, if you want to make sure you get it, go over to Dungeon Dudes and follow them on Twitch so you get those notifications. It's very good. They had a pretty sizable crowd through it.
They're
awesome.
awesome.
Pretty good production quality.
They're
a good DM.
they're great.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, they put out a lot of good content. Their YouTube content is awesome, and their games are fun, and they do great Dwarven Forge builds, and they're just really nice folks and really dedicated to this game, and they love Dwarven Forge.
Yeah, they've consistently been some of my favorite people to work with whenever we've had the chance to work with them.
They go all in.
On YouTube or Twitch. They're streaming it on Twitch. I think they upload them to YouTube afterwards.
Yeah.
But the stream is happening on Twitch.
Yeah, we'll be live on Twitch 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday on twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. Hey, can we host it on this channel or whatever? Can we do a thing?
I'll type it in chat.
Yeah. Like, can't we host it or whatever? Like, so it also streams.
We are hosting it, their channel. So when they go live, I made them like our second or third priority host. So pretty much anytime they're streaming, they'll be on this channel as well. But hosting's like a weird thing. Yeah. But if you go looking for the game, basically, and you come here, if you can't remember how to get to it, if you have trouble getting to it, you can come to their channel next Tuesday at 6, and you'll be able to get to their channel from here.
Woo!
Can you post that on Facebook as well, post-wise? Yeah, we could. Oh, did we not advertise the game on Facebook? We should. Yeah, we should make a post about it.
Yeah, please spread the nudge Andrew.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I think we're gonna do another 2-shot with them. Conception, assuming that we don't die in the second part of this thing. Monty full out said before he's like, whatever happens here doesn't have to be canon for your characters because there's a distinct possibility everybody's gonna die. He's like, he's like, I'm not gonna pull any punches, and it's gonna be dangerous. You guys are going in at 9th level, it's there will be serious consequences and serious hazards, and it's. He's like, don't feel bad if you die. So, but
If you guys missed the game and you want to see it, I believe the VOD is the VOD is actually up on their
yeah.
channel. So if you wanted to watch it, it's over there. 3 hours, and that's with the break, so it's actually under 3 hours to watch the first session.
So if we get through this, we're getting the 3 pieces for an expedition to the North Pole to try and find the origin of the Warforged in their world, to find Chug's memory crystals, which are delirium. So yeah, I'm kind of excited if this goes out. There'll be a second a sequel to for at some point. I like doing these 2 shots instead of 1 shot's really fun because it lets you do a thing that has a little more breathing room, and then there's like that, that little week in between where the DM gets to rewrite everything after you mess it up.
I guess the nice thing too is when you're doing a one shot, you can get kind of scared about time if things aren't going the way that you expect.
Yep.
But if you're doing a 2 shot, they get however far they get in the first one, and then you can adapt it. Like,
Yep.
This is the pace the group is moving at.
Yep. And here's the key things that are left. He said, Monty said I threw him for a loop on the so the tail end of this thing. We were interacting with this pit fiend in a painting that demanded a mortal soul, and I ran out and grabbed. There was a distinct boot that from this guy that just got eaten. That was on the floor back there. So I ran back and got the boot and ran out and presented the boot and said, "Here's your mortal soul." And because there's the guy that just died and sold it. So and he was just like, and he's like, I was, and it was luckily right before the end. It was after they signed off. He's like, man, he's like, that was, there were a couple of curveballs. He's like, that one I was not. He's like, that was not the solution, and that, but it worked. He's like, he's so angry. And he's like, it's awesome.
That's always the fun thing, right? Like when
it's
the
player comes
with the solution that's better than the thing that you thought of. So you're just like,
when you go with it.
Yeah, wow. Was not expecting you to get that fast. All right.
Or it's always such a treat when the players come up with a cooler solution to your puzzle, and you're like, that was it. You're definitely that was the solution all along. You guys, because it's D&D. All right, let's go to bed. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the good questions. Thanks for all the good ideas. We'll pick this up. Well, we don't have anything scheduled yet for next week either, right? So maybe we'll just keep building. Maybe I'll tinker with this.
Maybe we'll keep building.
Maybe I'll keep tinkering with this, and I'll start this other side next week or something. I don't know. We'll see. So think about what else. What can we build on the other side? What's this? We didn't even figure out how the lava is going to work with this. There's a long way. This is ambitious. This is going to be fun.
What is the demon?
Yeah. How do we work magma in here too, and wipe this stuff out? Where does it go? And maybe do some planning. I got to do some thinking.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
Good night. Bye. I have to stop it, don't I?
Yeah, you gotta do it. I'm powerless here.
All right.